Welcome inside our remote broadcast booth here in Blacksburg, Virginia, as the Virginia Tech Hokies travel south to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. Hello, I'm Tyler Katz for 3304 Sports, joined alongside my broadcast partner, Clint McLeod. It's a top 25 matchup in the ACC as the 19th ranked Virginia Tech Hokies enter this game 2-0 against the similarly 2-0 and 8th in the country North Carolina Tar Heels. It is a wet and rainy day, standing at 65 degrees at kickoff. Clint, what can we expect in this game with the weather the way that it is?
I think we'll see a lot of power running from both offenses. North Carolina is known for their ability to throw the ball with Sam Howell, but expect him to mix it up in the running game. Sam Howell is a dual threat quarterback that can use his feet. And for Virginia Tech, you're expected to see a healthy showing of Khalil Herbert in this game, as Braxton Burmeister is scheduled to make the start, as Hendon Hooker is available to play, but he is recovering from some heart conditions the previous 2 weeks.
Big for Virginia Tech. They had 300 or more rushing yards in each of their first two games. Only two such games in a game ahead of this 2020 ACC schedule. Meanwhile, for North Carolina, they're much more of an air raid offense, with Sam Howell being the backbone of that offense. With the weather the way that it is, do you expect North Carolina to continue that air raid offense or try to switch it up a bit and catch Virginia Tech off guard?
Michael Carter and Javonte Williams are a dual threat power duo in running back, but I still expect Sam Howell to throw the ball extremely effectively to Diami Brown. Daz Newsome has not been performing to his high standards this season, but he has always performed well against Virginia Tech. So I expect Daz Newsome to, maybe not have the game of his life, but show up in ways that he hasn't had this season. But for the Virginia Tech defense, they were missing 22 players last week, now 15, including Divine Diablo, amongst other starters, forcing Tyler Matheny to have his second career start as the walk-on.
For Virginia Tech, as you mentioned, they have been missing a lot of keys on defense, but new for the Hokies today, Justin Hamilton back on the sidelines coaching for the Hokies. He was tested positive for COVID-19 week 1 against NC State, as John Parker Romo boots the ball away, and we are underway from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The ball will bounce through the end zone for a touchback. North Carolina wearing white helmets, navy uniforms with Carolina blue lettering and white pants. For Virginia Tech, white helmets, white jerseys, and orange pants. Clint, as Virginia Tech's defense takes the field for the first time, as you mentioned, we saw a lot of walk-ons with Tyler Matheny. What needs to be the key to stop the high-powered offense of Sam Howell's Tar Heels?
It all comes on that, outside with your cornerbacks. Amari Chapman is returning. Jermaine Waller is returning. You still have Chamari Connor, the junior, who played a crucial role against NC State.
First play will go to Michael Carter for North Carolina, right up the middle for a 5-yard gain. Good start for North Carolina, showing that they can put the ball on the ground, gaining 5 yards on the opening play from scrimmage. Sam Howell takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throw to the right side. He's got his man in Bo Corrales, knocked out of bounds for about a gain of 3 yards on the play. That will bring up a big third down for North Carolina. Bo Corrales, with 7 catches so far this year, 82 touchdowns, the senior veteran voice on that Tar Heel offense. Will be third down and 2 from the North Carolina 33-yard line. Sam Howell has 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and a running back to his right. Howell fakes the handoff and gives it to his tight end in Garrett Walston, who gets past the first down marker. North Carolina moves the sticks on their first set of downs.
Yeah, Walston had a career best game against Virginia Tech last year. 4 receptions. He's known more for the blocking aspect, but he is a senior, 6'4", can leap and get the ball, and can be dynamic in this offense.
Howell back to throw, under pressure, flag comes in. Howell throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for Diami Brown, but a flag is on the play before Howell got the throw off.
Yeah, it looked like Emmanuel Belmar was getting pressure, and it will be holding on that offensive line. I believe it was the left guard, Joshua Izudu. The redshirt sophomore, he's been solid all year, but Emmanuel Belmar beat him around the corner, and the only thing he could do to stop him from getting to Sam Howell was to hold him.
Well, that's a big play for Virginia Tech. It will back North Carolina up to a 1st down and 20. So need to take advantage of these opportunities on a 1st and long. It'll be 1st down and 20 on the North Carolina 30-yard line. Howell has 3 receivers to his right. One of them shifts into motion, now 2 on each side. It will be a handoff to Michael Carter for a gain of about 3 yards. Not going to do much when you have a 1st down and 20. It will be 2nd down and long for the Tar Heels.
Virginia Tech's has been doing a good job so far of crashing the box. Tyler Matheny, Charmani Connor are crashing in on that running game, limiting Michael Carter, who can be extremely explosive in the open field, to only 3 or 4 yards. At 2nd and 16, you need to limit them to 4 yards here.
On the 34, Howell fakes the handoff, finds Bo Corrales, almost gets tripped up, and then Dax Hollifield in to make the tackle for Virginia Tech. A big gain for North Carolina will now make it a 3rd and short, a 12-yard gain on the Howell completion to Corrales.
Yeah, you went from possibly setting up North Carolina to a 3rd and long to now a 3rd and short. Virginia Tech needs to get off the field here.
It'll be 3rd down and 4 on the North Carolina 46-yard line. Howell looking at the sideline to head coach Mac Brown and their offensive coordinator Phil Longo, both in their 2nd season with the Tar Heels. Howell claps his hands. He's got 2 receivers on either side. Fakes the handoff. Looking to his left side. Sliding and making the catch is Daz Newsome. He has not been the Daz Newsome that we saw last year. Only his 4th catch of the season in the Tar Heels' 3rd game.
Yeah, he was extremely hot last season. Just hasn't really been involved in the offense to this point. It's really been a combination of Diami Brown and Michael Carter for the Tar Heels, but seeing Daz Newsome get a catch on the first drive of the game is extremely encouraging for Tar Heel fans.
Well, they took a 1st and 20 and converted it in a 1st down in 3 plays, and a run right up the middle by Javonte Williams for about 15 yards. 1st down, North Carolina, and it looks like they took that momentum of getting a 1st down and 20 into another set of downs. Javonte Williams right up the middle, getting past that defensive line for Virginia Tech very easily. Now on the Virginia Tech 32-yard line, Howell claps his hands. He fakes the handoff, throws to the right. He's got Daz Newsome again running for the 1st down. 3 plays, 3 straight 1st downs. He's got Daz Newsome again, pushed out of bounds by Jermaine Waller. But now in the red zone, North Carolina will have it 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 20.
These 2 routes from Daz Newsome are extremely fundamental, very basic. So head coach Mac Brown is trying to get Newsome involved early. Both of them have been out routes, beautifully thrown by Howell. But you're just getting your playmaker in space, and that's what matters here on the first drive.
North Carolina on the 20. Carter breaking free to the 4. He's tripped up by Tyler Matheny. It's another 1st down for North Carolina, and it looks like the running game is working for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, the Virginia Tech linebackers just look completely lost out there. A combination of Ashby and Hollifield are not getting the penetration in the A-gap, and it's just wide open.
1st and goal, they'll hand it off to Carter again. Breaks a tackle, but gets stuffed at the 1-yard line by Chamari Connor and Narell Pollard. It's going to be 2nd down and goal from the 1-yard line. North Carolina knocking at the door early.
Yeah, Chamari Connor saved a touchdown on that one. Split the first defender in Hollifield, and Connor was able to slow him down enough for the big defensive tackle of Norell Pollard to lay him out.
Javonte Williams taking the spot of Michael Carter. He lines up to the left of Sam Howell. Shift on the line as Howell comes under center. Howell takes the snap, hands it off to Javonte Williams, dives into the end zone, no signal yet. Touchdown, North Carolina. Javonte Williams punches it in. A 1-yard touchdown run for the Tar Heels up early.
Yeah, that was just a great offensive set on that goal line. As Sam Howell goes under center, you have the dual threat of him trying to sneak it above the nose guard position, but they were just able to punch a hole right up the middle for Javonte Williams, his 5th touchdown on the season.
11 plays, 75 yards for the North Carolina touchdown, taking just over 4 minutes. Grayson Atkins on to kick it in between the pipes for the extra point. He's got it. It's 7-0 North Carolina. 10 minutes and change remaining in the first quarter when we come back on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to our remote broadcast for 3304 Sports. North Carolina getting ready to boot it away. Kim steps up to the 35 and boots it away into the end zone. Khalil Herbert decides not to take it back through the end zone for a touchback. Virginia Tech will set up for their first drive of the game on the 25-yard line. The story for Virginia Tech is who's starting at quarterback. Burmeister, the starter this season so far, but Hendon Hooker cleared to play. We could see Hendon Hooker return to the field for Virginia Tech for the first time this season.
Yeah, Braxton Burmeister has done a good job so far this season, led the Hokies to a 2-0 start. You know, he's been untested in that passing game, but a dual-threat quarterback that can keep it, something that Ryan Willis struggled with last season for Virginia Tech. So until Hendon Hooker is fully ready, you expect to see Burmeister and Quincy Patterson.
Will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert, breaks a tackle, fighting for a few extra yards as he'll get to the 30, about a 5-yard gain for Khalil Herbert. Herbert wearing the number 25 instead of his traditional 21. That's a tradition at Virginia Tech that dates back to Frank Beamer's number when he played for the team, a special teams unit as he is the kickoff returner. A short screenplay for Braxton Burmeister to Tavion Robinson. He'll gain about 2 on the play. That will bring up 3rd down and 3.
You know, I like that call from Cornelson. It gets Burmeister's arm warm on that first drive. He struggled to throw the ball down the field, so it's an easy sling pass out to a playmaker. You know, you get 2 yards on it. It's a 3rd and short, but you need to get the conversion here.
Burmeister claps, trying to draw North Carolina offside. A lot of pointing by both lines. No flag called. Play clock down to 10. 7-0 North Carolina, 9:30 to play. Burmeister has 3 receivers to his left. Under pressure by Rini. He'll look over to the right side. Trey Turner had it and dropped it. Don Chapman in on the pressure. Now being tied up between Turner and Chapman, but what a great defensive play by Chapman to just pop that ball out of Turner's hands.
Yeah, it wasn't a great throw by Burmeister. Definitely catchable for Trey Turner. It was a little behind him as we look at the replay. Turner had to go back across his body in the direction that Chapman was coming from him. And in Chapman's effort to try and tackle Trey Turner, he's just able to get a hand in there and pop the ball loose. You know, that's a first down saving play.
Well, now it looks like Virginia Tech taking the field again. North Carolina wasn't ready, expecting the punt. Mac Brown going to call a timeout for North Carolina, having to burn one early at the 9:15 mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, expect Virginia Tech to be extremely aggressive here as, you know, the Hokies know how potent the North Carolina Tar Heel offense is. They're still missing a lot of keys on defense. So you need to go score for score with these guys. And going 3 out after North Carolina looked very impressive on their first possession is not what Brad Cornelson had in mind.
Head coach for Virginia Tech, Justin Fuente, only 1 loss ever when he's coaching in the state of North Carolina. That was last year's bowl game in the Belk Bowl in Charlotte for Virginia Tech, where they lost to Kentucky. And he's had very good luck against North Carolina, going 4-0 in his tenure as the Hokies head coach.
Yeah, he's just had their number. You know, obviously the 6 overtime game last year could have gone either way, but you know, this year's roster looks a little bit different for both teams. You know, obviously Virginia Tech's star cornerback Caleb Farley deciding to sit out the season and prepare for the NFL draft. You know, so Virginia Tech is a lot thinner in the talent department than what Justin Fuente would have liked, but still a lot of playmakers that can get the ball done, and we'll see what Virginia Tech can do on this 4th down.
Well, Burmeister takes the field. Fuente going with the offense. An aggressive call from Virginia Tech. Burmeister has 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right in the heavy shotgun. And Burmeister is going to punt this one away. A pooch punt for Virginia Tech as that one's going to roll to the 20 and out of bounds at the 17-yard line. A surprise call by Fuente and Virginia Tech to pin North Carolina inside their own 20.
Wow, what a call. You know, completely eliminating the kick return aspect. You see that call a lot in Bill Belichick's history over New England with Tom Brady. But Burmeister, he was in the shotgun, took 2 steps back to give himself some room. It was a low snap from Hoffman, and he just booted it away. North Carolina is pinned back in their territory. This is a great momentum shift for the Virginia Tech defense, but they need a 3 and out to give it back to Burmeister.
Well, Sam Howell and company set up on the 17-yard line, claps his hands a couple of times, but there's a flag on the play immediately before North Carolina can get the snap off, and it looks like it's going to be a false start on Joshua Izudu. We'll wait to see the official call from our head referee and Gary Patterson, and that's exactly what it will be, as North Carolina, another penalty to start their drive, backs them up. It will be 1st and 15 to start the North Carolina drive.
Yeah, that's the second time we've called Izudu's name in this first quarter, and not for good reasons. He had the holding call on the first drive against Belmar, which was inconsequential to the touchdown, but now backs them up inside the 15, so we'll see what Sam Howell can do backed up.
Into the 12, they're going to hand it off to Michael Carter. Carter breaks a couple of tackles. Dax Hollifield holds on to Carter for about 4 yards, taking him down, a gain of 15, right on that first down marker. We'll have to see if the officials are going to give North Carolina that first down or a 2nd and 1, and indeed, it's a first down for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, Justice Reed had a great opportunity to bring Carter down in the backfield, but he just took a bad angle out of the snap because the right tackle, Jordan Tucker, was pulling to seal off Ashby, and Justice Reed just wasn't able to get there in time.
Carter has 43 yards on 5 rushes. Howell's going to fire to the left side. Incomplete, intended for Diami Brown. So that will bring up 2nd down and 10 for North Carolina on their own 27-yard line.
Yeah, Diami Brown, such a big playmaker. He's averaging over 15 yards per reception this year. A little button hook out route trying to get towards the first down marker. But you usually see him in the deep ball over the top in one-on-one coverage.
North Carolina setting up on the 27-yard line. Howell takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Carter. Over the middle, he's got Daz Newsome. Newsome stiff arms Tyler Matheny and eventually falls down with pressure from Dax Hollifield. A big gain for Daz Newsome. His 3rd catch of the day, already doubling his catch total for the season.
And every single one of these plays have been simple routes for Daz Newsome. They've been 2 out routes and 1 slant right across the middle, slicing up the Virginia Tech defense, and you just give it to your playmaker in space and see what he can do.
A little pitch to Daz Newsome, a shovel pass. He's hit hard by Jermaine Waller, knocked out of bounds. It will be 2nd down for North Carolina following the 28-yard catch by Daz Newsome, followed by an 8-yard shovel pass. It will bring up 2nd down and 2 on the Virginia Tech 37-yard line. North Carolina leads 7-0 with about 8 minutes to play. North Carolina setting up on the 37-yard line, 3 receivers to Howell's right, but he's going to take a look to his left. He wants to go left. Diami Brown, end zone, touchdown, North Carolina. A huge play, 37 yards. Diami Brown and North Carolina up 2 scores on Virginia Tech early.
Yeah, we were just talking about Diami Brown. He was running some short routes, but he is known for his over-the-top plays. He is so fast. There is nobody on this Virginia Tech defense that can keep up with him. The newly returned Armani Chapman from a couple weeks out could not stay with him. There was no over-the-top help from Matheny, and Diami Brown was just able to burn the defense.
A huge play for North Carolina. They're going to take a look at it to see if Brown was in the end zone. That pass was caught at the very back of the end zone, but indeed he did get a foot inbounds. It will be a touchdown, North Carolina. 5 plays for 83 yards following the Braxton Burmeister pooch punt. North Carolina then got backed up on a penalty back to the 12-yard line and still scored in only 5 plays. Grayson Atkins on to kick the extra point. He's been perfect in his time as a Tar Heel in 3 games. 14-0 North Carolina with just under 8 to play. We'll take a break. When we come back, Burmeister and the Hokies get the ball back looking for answers. Welcome back to our remote broadcast booth in Blacksburg, Virginia. North Carolina versus Virginia Tech in Chapel Hill. Kim set to kick it away for North Carolina as Virginia Tech looking for answers defensively.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, that drive started at North Carolina's 17-yard line. It took 1 minute and 15 for them to get all the way down the field and score, capped off by that deep pass to Diami Brown. But I think the play of that drive was that 28-yard reception to Daz Newsome. Just really, got North Carolina from deep in their own territory into Virginia Tech plus territory. And, for Virginia Tech now coming out with Burmeister, you just need to get a first down. This isn't out of hand yet. But if you go out 3 and out again, your defense is gassed. They've been burned, in the air and on the ground. There isn't, Justin Hamilton needs time to make those adjustments.
A touchback on the kickoff will set Virginia Tech up on the 25-yard line for their second drive. Burmeister takes the snap, look to his right, takes it himself for about 3 yards. Looks like he just got tripped up by about 3 or 4 Tar Heels in on the play. It's going to be a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7 coming up for Virginia Tech.
This is what we talked about in the open with Burmeister that, that Ryan Willis wasn't able to do last season, was really utilize his legs. He's very quick. A lot of designed runs will be for him, and he can, extend the play outside of the pocket.
8 first downs for North Carolina. Virginia Tech still looking for their first. Burmeister rolls to the left. He's looking long, but into triple coverage. He cannot find his man intended for James Mitchell. Jeremiah Gimmel in on the play, but Chaz Surratt getting in, pressuring Burmeister to get that throw off.
Yeah, James Mitchell is 6'3", but to catch that one, he'll need to be 7 foot. Into triple coverage, Mitchell was able to get his hands on it, but not able to bring it down. As you talked about, the pressure from Gimmel forced Burmeister into the throw a little bit earlier than what you liked, but 3rd and 7, Virginia Tech needs, and I mean needs, a first down.
And it's 3rd down and 7. They're going to need to go through the air if you would like to have it, as Raheem Blackshear standing to Burmeister's left. Burmeister takes the snap, looking long, sees a hole to his left, decides to take off, but he's hit 3 yards into that run by Jeremiah Gimmel. He's been there twice on this set of downs for Virginia Tech, stopping them, forcing a 4th and long.
Yeah, Jeremiah Gimmel, what an open field tackle on Burmeister. Burmeister had the edge, and if it wasn't for Gimmel, that would have been a first down and more for Burmeister. So Gimmel was able to just trip him up right around his ankles and force a Virginia Tech punt.
In comes the traditional punter for Virginia Tech, Oscar Bradburn from Australia, boots it away, and a fair catch by Daz Newsome at around the 34-yard line. North Carolina will take over for their 3rd drive, trying to score for the 3rd straight time when we come back. Back from Chapel Hill, North Carolina for Virginia Tech versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. Sam Howell near perfect so far, 8 for 9, already over 100 yards passing. It will be Javonte Williams up the middle, 2nd down, a gain of about 8 to 9 yards. We'll wait to see on the official spot. It looks like it's going to be 2nd down and 1. But a big gain for Javonte Williams will set up 2nd down and 1. Now Howell looking to his right side, an incomplete pass intended for Bo Corrales. Great pass coverage by Jermaine Waller to bring up a 3rd down and short.
Yeah, he's one of the new Hokies that are back in the lineup today after COVID-19 complications. Fully healthy, the junior from D.C., he was able to beat that route to the spot and break it up, preventing the first down. And Virginia Tech once again forces North Carolina to a 3rd down. They have not gotten them off the field yet, but this will be a huge momentum boost for the Virginia Tech defense.
Virginia Tech's offensive line has been great. They got 7 sacks last week against Duke. So far, Howell has not even been under pressure. Movement across the line. It'll be a handoff to Javonte Williams. A gain of about 3 yards as the pile pushes him over the first down marker onto that North Carolina logo to around their own 46.
Ashby, Virginia Tech's leading tackler this season and a year ago, shot the wrong gap. He went up the B gap, but Javonte Williams went up right upside that A gap, and he was able to push the pile into that first down. So Ashby unlucky there. It has not been his game so far, not being that impact player we're used to seeing.
2 receivers on either side of Howell. A wheel route by Williams, and he goes straight to that wheel route. Javonte Williams again dragged across the line by Chamari Connor. First down, North Carolina, and it doesn't seem like Virginia Tech can stop this North Carolina offense.
Yeah, Virginia Tech cannot put a linebacker on Javonte Williams, especially with space. He was just able to run right by him, and the help from Connor was late.
It'll be 1st and 10 inside Virginia Tech territory on the 43-yard line. Howell takes the snap. It's going to be a screen to Bo Corrales. No, excuse me, that's Daz Newsome. He's hit behind the line by Jermaine Waller. Finally, negative yardage forced by the Tech defense.
Yeah, that's the first negative yardage play so far this game. We're calling Jermaine Waller's name a lot. He has been a huge impact player. Haven't seen him as much in coverage. It seems like he's been shadowing Bo Corrales. You'd like to see him more on Daz Newsome or Diami Brown. But Jermaine Waller, first game of the season, proving why he belongs on this Virginia Tech starting defense.
Just under 5 to play in the first quarter. North Carolina leads by 2 scores, 14-0. Play clock down to 7. Second down and 12 for the Tar Heels on the Tech 45. Howell looks to his right. He's going to take off after he was under pressure. He's going to slide down. Big hit by Chamari Connor, and multiple flags fly in the play. I think all 5 officials threw their flag on that one.
Yeah, Jordan Tucker, the right tackle, was not happy. Got right in the face of Chamari Connor. It seemed as much as Sam Howell had slid and given himself up. Chamari Connor might have led with the crown of the helmet, and we'll see what the call is, and it will be targeting. It will have to be reviewed, of course. There was contact to Sam Howell's head, but we will see where the contact came from and when in the process of the slide.
Yeah, you don't usually see collegiate quarterbacks give themselves up on the slide, but that's exactly what Sam Howell did. He saw Connor rushing in. He definitely led with the crown of the helmet. I don't think it was helmet-to-helmet contact, but the fact is that he led with the crown of his head and hit after Howell had given himself up.
Yeah, Howell had started his slide before Chamari Connor had left the ground. I think that's what officials are looking at. It seemed like he led with the crown of the helmet and made contact with the shoulder pad to a very rough contact to Sam Howell's head. I would be very surprised if Chamari Connor remains in this game.
And this could be a huge penalty for Virginia Tech as well, as that would add 15 yards to the end of Howell's run.
Yeah, Jordan Tucker was not happy, the right tackle. You got to defend your quarterback, and he did just that, going right after Chamari Connor and expressing his frustration. And it seems like we'll get the official ruling now.
And the official ruling from our head referee, Gary Patterson, that call is confirmed. Connor will be out for the remainder of this game. Since it's a first half targeting penalty, he will be able to return for the first half against Boston College in their next week's game. But Connor out for the remainder of this one. A huge blow to an already depleted Virginia Tech defense.
Yeah, that'll force Amari Chapman into a lot more one-on-one coverage out on the outside with Newsome and Diami Brown than we would have liked. We talked about how Jermaine Waller should step up into more coverage roles, and I don't think this is how defensive coordinator Justin Hamilton wanted him to step up. But the Virginia Tech depleted secondary will have to kind of accommodate the loss of Connor with J.R. Walker checking into the game.
So that will go from the 34-yard line of Virginia Tech all the way to the 19-yard line. A run from the right to the left by Newsome. It's going to be a handoff to Javonte Williams. Williams breaks a tackle from Matheny. Williams, 10-5, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina. A huge first quarter for the Tar Heels.
21-0 already. Javonte Williams is so difficult to bring down. You cannot have an arm tackle, and that's exactly what Tyler Matheny did, was not able to wrap him up as Jermaine Waller tried with that last-second heave, but it was too little too late as his momentum carried him into the end zone. Javonte Williams with his second touchdown of the game, 6 touchdowns already this season.
It's been a huge season by Williams already. Came into this game averaging just under 5 yards. That's definitely going to go up after this game if he keeps this performance up. 7 plays, 66 yards for the Tar Heels in just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
And you think about it, Javonte Williams is listed as the backup running back to Michael Carter. They split carries coming to the game. They both had an average of 24 attempts through 2 games. But on the depth chart, Javonte Williams is listed as 2, and he is proving why he deserves more carries.
Atkins' kick is good. North Carolina extending their lead to 21 points. At what point does it get insurmountable for Virginia Tech? Still looking for answers. The Hokies get the ball back when we return. Welcome back inside our remote broadcast booth for 3304 Sports. I'm Tyler Katz, joined alongside Clint McLeod. North Carolina taking a 21-0 lead, and a big part of that, Virginia Tech only 6 plays so far in the first 11 minutes of gameplay compared to 16 by North Carolina. 12 first downs for the Tar Heels. Virginia Tech still looking for their first.
Yeah, Burmeister needs to come up with one heck of a drive because Virginia Tech down 21-0 already is not looking great. We're not even out of the first quarter. The deficit has not become insurmountable, but if Virginia Tech does not score on this drive and North Carolina scores another touchdown, then I'll consider talking about the game being over before the second half.
Kim's kickoff goes through the end zone for a touchback. 3 touchbacks for Kim so far in his 3 kickoffs. Virginia Tech setting up at the 25-yard line yet again, still trying for that elusive first down late in the first quarter. Will be Braxton Burmeister retaking the field. He's got 2 receivers to his right, nobody to his left side except for a running back in Raheem Blackshear. Turner switching over to the left side. Burmeister now has 1 receiver on either side. Burmeister on a design run. Had a block from Blackshear, but it's going to be Don Chapman spear tackling him for a gain of just 1 yard, and Chapman is pumped up.
Yeah, it looks like Virginia Tech is trying to go to the hurry-up offense. Maybe they might see something on the North Carolina defense, but if anything, you might want to take some time and give your defense a break.
A diamond formation of 4 receivers. It's going to go to Raheem Blackshear, who is in the bottom part of that diamond, and that's going to go for a gain of 1. Kyler McMichael in on the tackle for North Carolina, and 2 gains of just 1 yard is going to bring up a 3rd and long. And if history repeats itself, Virginia Tech has not been great in these situations.
No, it's 3rd and long. That almost completely eliminates the rush, forcing Burmeister to throw the ball. We've seen a lot of design runs from Braxton Burmeister, only 1 carry so far for Khalil Herbert.
Will be 3rd and long. Burmeister has 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. There's a motion from the line to the right side on a wheel route. He's going to find that wheel route. Nick Gallo at the 41-yard line. First down, Virginia Tech. A beautifully designed route by Nick Gallo and an even better throw by Burmeister.
Yeah, that's Gallo's 2nd catch of the season and probably the biggest of his entire career, as he's able to get that first down that Virginia Tech so desperately needed.
Their first down of this game in Chapel Hill. They'll set up on the Virginia Tech 42-yard line. 2 minutes and 50 seconds, some movement on the line. Virginia Tech looking over to the sideline for a play and subsequently a flag as there looked to be some motion by number 42 in North Carolina. There's a triangle formation to the left of Burmeister, but it's going to be a faked handoff. In on the block is Blackshear. Burmeister going to take it again, and now a pile for North Carolina to take down Braxton Burmeister on the quarterback keeper.
You know, that's his 4th quarterback designed run already. I understand Cornelson's, wish to get him involved in the offense, but you have the most explosive running back in all of college football right now standing on the sideline. You know, while I like Burmeister's design runs, they are getting positive yardage. I will take a Khalil Herbert handoff over a Burmeister draw any day.
That will set Virginia Tech up on their own 47-yard line. 2nd down and 5, just under 2 minutes to play. Burmeister takes a snap, looking to his left. A screen play to Trey Turner. Turner jukes out a couple of men. He's got room. 40, 30, wrestled out of bounds by Don Chapman. A huge play by Trey Turner, and there's some extracurriculars before being separated by officials.
Yeah, Trey Turner, that was a simple bubble screen. We've seen that twice or 3 times already from Burmeister, but Trey Turner is the man that you want with the ball in his hands. He's able to make a few miss, and Don Chapman finally had to wrestle him out right around the 20-yard line.
A big play for Virginia Tech. A 36-yard completion to Trey Turner, and subsequently the 2nd first down. But hold on a second, as there is an injured Tar Heel on the field. Toman Fox, a senior out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, tied for the team lead last year with 6.5 sacks, registered 3 stops and a sack last year against Virginia Tech. Not a person you want to see on the turf for North Carolina.
Yeah, 9 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss. Gets a lot of penetration from his linebacker spot. 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Not a very encouraging sign for this Tar Heel defense. That it hasn't been their strong suit so far this season, and they need every playmaker and every upperclassman on that defense they can have.
Not only that, but Toman Fox, the older brother of sophomore Tamari Fox, also on the defensive line for North Carolina. The Fox brothers have been productive for North Carolina, but one half of them is on the turf. I believe they were looking at his leg.
Yeah, it looked like his knee. I don't know if he got caught in like a chop block or whatever type of block downfield on the Trey Turner catch. But yeah, the Fox brothers have combined for 6 sacks, which is more than any combination of Tar Heel defenders. So hopefully Toman Fox will be able to get back into this one. But if not, that's a huge blow to North Carolina's pass rush.
After the Turner completion, Virginia Tech will set up on the UNC 17. Burmeister claps twice. It will be a handoff to Raheem Blackshear. Blackshear tried to get away from Jeremiah Gimmel, but Gimmel chases him down tackled after a 2-yard gain past the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 8 inside the red zone for the Hokies. Just over a minute to play.
Yeah, that was a great pursuit by Gibble. Not over pursuing into the backfield, but, ran laterally with Blackshear. There was nowhere for him to go and was able to rally tackle with his North Carolina Tar Heel brothers.
21-0 North Carolina. Virginia Tech trying to change that. Burmeister has 3 receivers to his left and a running back, 3 receivers to his right, a running back to his left. Burmeister going to use Blackshear as a blocker. Burmeister's got room inside the 10, taken down just short of the first down marker. It will be 3rd and short. 49 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Virginia Tech trying to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that was a low snap. Nice corral by Burmeister, and it looked like another designed run, so the low snap really didn't impact his throwing ability. Able to go left, a great seal on the outside by Raheem Blackshear, and Burmeister comes just short of that first down inside the 10-yard line.
3rd down and 1 on the North Carolina 8-yard line. Just 20 seconds remain. A small shift on the defensive line for North Carolina. Turner comes across the line. It's going to be a handoff to Blackshear. He's dragged across the first down marker. Virginia Tech will have it 1st down and goal. 15 seconds. Clock stops to reset the chains. We'll see if Virginia Tech gets a snap off before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, that was just a great run by Blackshear. You've seen probably Blackshear more than Herbert, which is a surprise for a lot of Hokies fans. But Raheem Blackshear, the junior transfer from Rutgers, still a very accomplished running back, able to run hard and get that first down as we end the first quarter.
End of the first quarter. It has been a dominating performance by North Carolina. Up on the scoreboard, 21-0, but Virginia Tech knocking at the door. Welcome back for the start of the second quarter. Burmeister looking to the right side, tipped pass looking for Blackshear. Braxton Burmeister has some history with North Carolina, coming down to visit for the first time. His father, a 3-year letter winner for North Carolina as a defensive back.
Yeah, Burmeister trying to roll out to his right, had Blackshear wide open, but if it wasn't for the tip at the line of scrimmage by one of the defensive linemen, that would have been an easy walk-in touchdown for Virginia Tech. But now 2nd and goal, they need to draw something up.
2nd and goal. This will be the 10th play of the drive. Herbert rolling out to the left side. First time we've seen him since the first play of the game. They're going to use him as a blocker. Fighting for the end zone is Burmeister. Did he get in? The referees are going to call him short of the goal line. 3rd down and 1, just stuffed at that goal line. In on the tackle was Don Chapman for North Carolina. Have yourself a game for Don Chapman. Seems like we've been saying his name a lot.
Oh, yeah, a touchdown-saving play. Virginia Tech's offensive line was able to get a huge push behind Hoffman and Derisau. Burmeister, very speedy, does have great shoulders, can push the pile along, but Chapman was just able to push him back at the goal line.
3rd down and goal. It's going to be a handoff to the tight end. James Mitchell walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. On the scoreboard for the first time today. Cutting into that 21-point deficit, James Mitchell finds the end zone for the score.
James Mitchell is not your prototypical tight end, is exceptional at blocking and catching, but can also run the football. A little sweep, it looked like he was motioning to the left side of the offensive line to protect Burmeister on a potential draw, but instead the handoff goes right to Mitchell, and he scampers in for the 1-yard touchdown.
Brian Johnson's kick right up the middle, 7 points for Virginia Tech, but it's nothing in comparison to 21 for North Carolina. North Carolina will get the ball back, trying to add on to their lead when we return. Welcome back to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We aren't in Chapel Hill. We're in Blacksburg, Virginia on the call remotely. Tyler Katz joined alongside Clint McLeod for 3304 Sports. Virginia Tech finally finding the end zone for the score. John Parker Romo set to kick it away for Virginia Tech and give it back to North Carolina. Both teams set to receive the kickoff. John Parker Romo steps up to the 35 and boots it away through the end zone for a touchback. North Carolina setting up on the 25-yard line to start their 4th drive. Their first 3, all of them cashed in for the score.
Yeah, it was just an absolutely methodical drive from North Carolina the last 3 times out. A combination more so of Javonte Williams than Michael Carter. a healthy dose of Daz Newsome on that first touchdown. And, of course, Diami Brown down the sideline beating the defensive coverage, blown coverage of Virginia Tech over the top. So it's been a catalyst of impact players for North Carolina, and they're hoping to replicate that. I say if they get a field goal this drive, that you're keeping that momentum. A touchdown is not necessary, but you don't want to give the ball back to Virginia Tech to have them give an opportunity to cut it to a one-score game.
A flag on the play before Howell can get the snap off, and it's going to be a false start yet again on Joshua Azudu. His second false start penalty of the game, and we're at the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, like I said the last time we called his name, this is the third time we're talking about Azudu. Not for good reasons. He had the holding call in the first drive that was, obviously negated by the touchdown. The false start to start the last drive that, they still scored a touchdown. So it seems like every time he has some sort of penalty, North Carolina does well.
It's going to be a quick pass over to the right side, finding Brown for the gain of about 5 yards. A quick pass, first time that he's found the younger brother of Diami Brown, Caffrey Brown, on the catch for North Carolina. Now a handoff to the left side for Michael Carter, a gain of about 3. That will bring up third down and short. North Carolina have been next to perfect on third downs regardless of distance.
Yeah, Caffrey Brown has a lot of the same potential his older brother Diami Brown does. Only a red-shirted freshman. He still has 5 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown, so still big play opportunity from either of the Brown brothers.
Howell looking to his left side. Had his man in the older brother Diami Brown, but a dropped pass on the coverage by Dorian Strong. That will bring up fourth down and the punting unit for North Carolina for the first time today.
Yeah, Virginia Tech finally gets their stop, but it was because of a great coverage from a freshman defensive back, Dorian Strong, that had to step up to the plate with the Chamari Connor ejection. So Dorian Strong making his name and his case played early as Virginia Tech finally gets a defensive stop.
Will be 4th and 2. On comes the punter for North Carolina, Ben Kiernan, the sophomore from Dublin, Ireland. Moved to North Carolina when he was 15 years old, now playing for his home state Tar Heels. The punt by Kiernan. Set to receive it is Tavion Robinson. Robinson calling for the fair catch at around the 36-yard line. Virginia Tech going to get the ball back, trying to cut into that deficit, which currently stands at 14.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, a great drive last time out. Probably ate a little bit more of the clock than Justin Fuente likes here in this, in that first quarter into the second, trying to get back into it before halftime. But Virginia Tech having good position starting at their 46-yard line. We'll see what they can do this time out with Burmeister and company.
It will be a very interesting look for Virginia Tech as they scored on their last drive, but their first 2 drives stalled for a 3-and-out. For Virginia Tech, a new look as we're going to have a very quick holding penalty called against North Carolina, resetting the chains for Virginia Tech again from the 32 to the 42. And a new look for Virginia Tech as Hendon Hooker re-enters the game for Virginia Tech for the first time this season. We'll get to see what Hooker can do against North Carolina. Hooker takes it himself on the first play he's in, a gain of about 5 yards. Hendon Hooker, a good first play back for the Hokies.
Yeah, you saw this a lot last season. He took over after the 45-10 loss to Duke for Ryan Willis. Had nearly 400 rushing yards last season, picked up 5 there. So shifty, very difficult to bring down. Still stands at 220, so by any means, he will not be knocked around back there.
Well, Hendon Hooker remaining in the game at quarterback. We'll see if he can air it out for the first time this season. He has 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Hooker, it's going to be a handoff to Khalil Herbert, and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3 yards. Not a great play. Kelly in on the tackle for North Carolina. Herbert doesn't lose yardage much, but he does here. Will be 3rd down and 6 for the Hokies.
Yeah, that was just a read option. I think Hooker made the wrong decision. Obviously, in hindsight, he handed the ball off to Herbert where the defensive backs from that left side were crashing on Herbert. The right side was wide open, so if Hooker took that, he would have had a first down and more.
Will be 3rd and 6 for Virginia Tech on their own 46-yard line. Hooker looking to pass under pressure over the middle. Finds James Mitchell. North Carolina says it's incomplete, and the officials will agree. An incomplete pass on Hooker's first attempt. That will bring up 4th down, and on comes Oscar Bradburn to punt it away for the Hokies.
Yeah, if Mitchell was able to hold on to that, that looks like a first down, but I think, finally the rainy and slippery conditions are starting to be in effect this game, as James Mitchell usually 10 times out of 10 makes that catch, but the ball is slippery coming into his arms. He's falling down. The ground forces the ball out of his hands. Obviously, an incompletion, 100%. Great call by the official. Unlucky for the Hokies.
Bradburn's punt, waiting on it, is Daz Newsome. He'll let it sail over his head through the end zone for a touchback, so North Carolina will set up on their own 20-yard line as they again try to add on to their lead after they had to punt their previous drive.
Yeah, Virginia Tech special teams are always known for their kickoffs, touchbacks, limiting the amount of kickoff returns. So John Parker Roma, one of the biggest boots in the game, the kickoff specialist. Don't see him much in the field goal unit, as obviously Brian Johnson is almost automatic this season. And then same with Oscar Bradburn. A lot of long kicks, pins the defense into the deep part of their own end zone. And, flipping the field position is such a huge part that Virginia Tech has with that special teams. It's been dating back ever since the 90s with Frank Beamer.
Well, for North Carolina, the one thing that has been working for them is their running game, which I don't think many people expected. That 1-2 punch of Michael Carter and Javonte Williams taking over for that traditional air raid attack that Sam Howell likes to run with. Sam Howell will have 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. It will be a handoff to Michael Carter. Carter gains about 6 yards before being taken down by Barno. So like I just mentioned, the running game working for North Carolina at gain of 6 on the first play of the drive.
And, with the running game working, that keeps the Virginia Tech defense on their heels. And when they do decide to pass, Virginia Tech has not able to get any pressure from Emmanuel Belmar and Justice Reed, their 2 leading sack defenders.
Carter, 7 attempts for 54 yards. Howell fires to the left side for Diami Brown, but drops it after the pressure from the Virginia Tech defender. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for North Carolina.
Yeah, that would have been a first down. That's 2 drops and 2 possessions for Diami Brown, known for that deep ball capability. Like I said, the ball is wet. More times than not, Diami Brown makes that catch.
Howell on 3rd down and 4. Virginia Tech seeming to play zone coverage with 4 players in the secondary. Al looking over to Mac Brown and Longo on the sideline looking for a play call. Howell switches Michael Carter from his right to his left. Howell looking back to pass under pressure. Sam Howell ripped down by Amari Barno. Virginia Tech getting the pressure on the quarterback and taking him down for a sack. It will be 4th down and long for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, that's Barno's 3rd sack of the season, his 3rd tackle for loss. Such an impact player at the backup defensive end position behind Emmanuel Belmar and Justice Reed. It was a whole host of Hokies that were able to break through the line, but Barno was the one that was able to bring Sam Howell down, as Howell was able to scamper out of the pocket and able to extend the play.
The punt for North Carolina will be called for a fair catch at around the 30-yard line. But players like Barno and, like we mentioned earlier, Tyler Matheny, the walk-on for Virginia Tech, these are players that have to step up after a host of players now out for Virginia Tech defensively due to COVID-19 numbers. Divine Diablo, Keonta Jenkins, Breon Murray, and now Chamari Connor out with that targeting penalty earlier in the first quarter. It has been a huge loss of talent on the Virginia Tech defense, and we've seen the effects of it in that first quarter when North Carolina put up 21.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, there's so many transfers on this team. They're still getting acclimated. A lot of big playmakers. We just talked about Barno, who made the tackle on the sack on Sam Howell, transferred in from Butler Community College. Only played 3 games last season, so a lot of people are being asked to step up on this Virginia Tech defense, especially as Virginia Tech is only missing 1 player on the offensive side of the ball, and that was their right tackle, as Silas Danzy gets the start. So the Virginia Tech offense is well-oiled, and everyone is healthy, now including Hendon Hooker, because we saw him earlier in this second quarter, but the Virginia Tech defense is looking like a liability in this game.
For North Carolina, their defense has been working well so far. They allowed only 6 points in their opening game against Syracuse. 7 so far against Carolina. Under pressure was Braxton Burmeister, who's back in the game by Asante. Almost got it in, and just Burmeister had to get rid of it.
Yeah, the screen was set up really well. Blackshear had a lot of room to run with 2 blockers out with him, but just great interior pressure. Burmeister was obviously on his back foot, not able to get it completed. If they do, I think that goes for 15-plus yards.
It'll be 2nd and 10 for Virginia Tech on their own 30-yard line. Burmeister back in the game at quarterback. A shift across the line, a fake jet sweep. Burmeister will take it himself for a gain of about 4 yards. It will bring up 3rd down and long for Virginia Tech. A beautiful play as they fake the jet sweep, which Cornelson is known for as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, at Virginia Tech, the jet sweep has almost become a staple of that offense. And now that when you're faking it, you're keeping the defense on their toes, because almost always you sell out on the jet sweep because Virginia Tech loves to run laterally on the perimeter. That's what their running backs do. They have speedy wide receivers. But Burmeister, unlike what Ryan Willis did last year, was able to keep it.
Will be 3rd down and 5. Burmeister looking long. He's going to take off to his right. He's hit at almost the 1st down marker. I don't believe he got it, but a big hit on Burmeister by Kelly for North Carolina, and they will mark him short. It will be 4th down and literally inches, as that seems to be more at the 39 3/4 yard line than the 39-yard line.
Yeah, the line judge, Dion Lewis, had a great view of that one, spotted him just short. You can't even tell it on our screen how short it is. You know, if you moved it up 2 inches, you think that they get the 1st down, and Burmeister and company are staying out there.
Well, it'll be 4th and 1, and as you mentioned, Virginia Tech staying on the field. Burmeister takes the snap, handing it off to Raheem Blackshear, and easily getting the 1st down, a gain of about 5 on that play. It'll be 1st and 10 for Virginia Tech. They're trying to get back in this one, down 21-7, about midway through the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, another great play by Blackshear, running hard. Haven't heard Khalil Herbert's name since the opening possession, but Raheem Blackshear capitalizing on his opportunities early. I wonder why we haven't seen Khalil Herbert yet from Justin Fuente.
Well, speaking of Khalil Herbert, he's back in the game, standing to Burmeister's right, 2 receivers to the left, and it will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert breaks a few tackles, dragged over the 1st down marker. Khalil Herbert, an 11-yard gain, right as you mentioned, him not getting many touches.
You know, this only shows why he needs to get more. He is just such an explosive playmaker, able to make a few miss. He is so shifty and agile, but has the strength to run over defenders. You know, he needs to have 100-plus yards for Virginia Tech if they want to stay in this game, because he eats up the yardage for that Tech offense.
Last week at Duke, 358 all-purpose yards, a Virginia Tech record in their long history of their football team, and it's going to be another handoff to Khalil Herbert. Right up the middle, he's going to be tripped up for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. Khalil Herbert, impressive in his 3 rushes so far for Virginia Tech today.
You know, I'm surprised that people haven't heard much of Khalil Herbert before his time at Virginia Tech. He was at Kansas, had over 1,000 rushing yards. He is such a dynamic player, so patient until he can find his gap, and he is, you know, the reason why Virginia Tech runs.
Herbert wearing Beamer's 25. He's being used as a blocker as Burmeister fires downfield for Trey Turner. A completed catch. That one caught near the ground. 1st down as Burmeister finds Turner for 16 yards for the 1st down for the Hokies. 2nd big play for Turner.
Yeah, not the prettiest throw in the world. A little bit behind Trey Turner. But Burmeister on the run. The ball is slippery. All that matters is he's able to complete it down the field for that 1st down. Now in plus enemy territory.
The Hokies call him Big Play Trey. His 2nd reception for over 10 yards and his 2nd play for a 1st down. Burmeister now going to have a triangle formation of receivers to his left. A fake handoff to Herbert. Burmeister's going to keep it himself. He's at the 20, 10, pushed out of bounds by Don Chapman. A beautiful design run by Burmeister. 1st and goal, Hokies.
You know, compared to some of the, design runs that we've seen at Burmeister, he cut it outside perfect ball carrier vision as Nick Gallo got the seal. A lot of Burmeister's runs, he just tucked his shoulder and run up the middle, but he needs to get to the outside with that speed in space. He is just as lethal as any of these Virginia Tech running backs.
It will be 1st and goal for Virginia Tech. On the 8-yard line, Burmeister looking over to the sideline for the play call. He's got 2 receivers to his left and Khalil Herbert standing to his immediate left, nobody to the right side. A handoff to Herbert on the right. At the 10, breaks a tackle, 5, touchdown Virginia Tech! Khalil Herbert finds the end zone, an 8-yard touchdown run.
Unbelievable run by Khalil Herbert, so patient on the perimeter, waiting for James Mitchell to get that seal, and Khalil Herbert able to do what he does best.
His 4th touchdown run of the year, pushed out of bounds right at that pylon, but clearly crossed the plane beforehand, where it doesn't look like the officials will review it, as they clearly got in Don Chapman with the push into the end zone. 9 plays, 70 yards in just over 4 minutes for Virginia Tech, as the kick from Brian Johnson straight down the middle, 21-14, Virginia Tech now within a score. North Carolina going to try to pad their lead when we return. Welcome back to our remote call of Virginia Tech versus North Carolina. John Parker Romo boots it away. This one doesn't find the end zone, but a fair catch inside the 25 is called a touchback per college rules. So North Carolina going to set up on their own 25-yard line for their 6th drive of the day. 3 touchdowns, 2 punts for North Carolina, and now they've allowed Virginia Tech to bring this within a 1-score game. North Carolina needs an answer to take the momentum away from Virginia Tech.
You know, if I'm North Carolina, I'm not overly concerned, because on those 2 possessions where they had to punt, there was 2 drop passes that would have extended the drive. So just keep doing what you're doing. You know, obviously throughout the course of the game, you're going to have to punt the football, but you should feel good about your offense.
Will be a handoff to Javonte Williams. He takes off after breaking a tackle. He's at the 40, 30, 20. He had room, but whistles below the play short. It looks like Williams stepped out of bounds way upfield. The line judge keeping a close eye.
Yeah, it looked like he was just pushed out of bounds by the pressure from Jermaine Waller. Perfect position by that sideline judge. You just can't get in better position than by that. His right foot just touched the line. You know, that is a touchdown saving call for Virginia Tech, but for Javonte Williams, such an impressive run.
Either way, a 29-yard gain for North Carolina. Their first down of the second quarter with just under 6 to play. North Carolina still leads 21-14. It's going to be another handoff to Javonte Williams. He's going to gain only 1 now. The walk-on Tyler Matheny in on the tackle for Virginia Tech.
You know, Matheny has missed a couple tackles early in the open field, but able to get that one done on Javonte Williams, limiting to only 2 yards. At this point for Virginia Tech, you need to force them to a field goal. You know, you got lucky that Javonte Williams stepped out of bounds. That would have been, you know, a 70-plus yard touchdown. But you need to, you know, force them. You need to stall the drive inside the 30.
2nd down and 8. Carter taking the place of Williams, trading snaps. Carter's going to get the handoff. And a gain, couple broken tackles, a gain of about 11 yards for Michael Carter. 1st down, North Carolina, inside the Virginia Tech 35.
You know, Michael Carter's so strong and agile at only 5'8". You cannot tackle him with your arms, because by the time you try and wrap him up, he's already gone. And linebacker Alan Tisdale learned that the hard way, as he just shedded off that arm tackle from Tisdale.
Howell is going to have 2 receivers on both sides after the shift from Diami Brown, but it's going to be a handoff to Carter. Carter breaks a tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5, dragged down by Rayshard Ashby. 1st and goal, North Carolina, and it looks like North Carolina ready to respond to the 14 unanswered points put up by the Hokies.
You know, Hollyfield missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Virginia Tech's tackling just has not been good this game. It's a lot of poor wraps. You know, you need to go for, you know, below the knees, wrap the ankles. If they can't run, then they can't advance the ball, and these arm tackles are not doing it.
Howell, screen pass to Daz Newsome. Newsome beats the man, front flips into the end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina. They put their lead up by 14, yet again pending the PAT.
Yeah, Nadir Thompson, the redshirt sophomore, checked into the game and was responsible for Newsome and just got to the perimeter late. There is a flag on the play. We'll see if the touchdown still stands, but Nadir Thompson was late to that transition, leading to the wide open touchdown on the little bubble screen.
That flag flew in extremely late. It is after the play, an unsportsmanlike conduct called on Daz Newsome. A bit of excessive celebration, scoring on his childhood team, growing up a Hokie fan.
You know, Daz Newsome, there's just so much emotion in this game. He is 0-3 in his career against Virginia Tech. Can smell blood in the water. Is having his best game of the season. Has to be happy with his individual performance. So, he did celebrate a little bit too much after the play. A good unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but don't expect Daz Newsome to get his second.
Stands as a touchdown for North Carolina. Penalty going to be enforced on the kickoff. In comes Grayson Adkins to put it in between the pipes for the extra point for North Carolina. He has been perfect, 11 for 11 on extra points so far this year for North Carolina. They re-extend the lead. It's 28-14. Virginia Tech gets another chance with the ball when we return on 3304 Sports. North Carolina pumped up on their sideline after that last touchdown by Daz Newsome. And now Kim will boot it away. We are back on the call remotely as the game's being played in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Khalil Herbert's going to take the kickoff past the 36-yard line. It looks like he got to the 37-yard line before being taken down. A big return by Khalil Herbert, taking advantage of the 15-yard penalty that forced North Carolina to kick off on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, North Carolina got extremely lucky on that one. As Khalil Herbert is so explosive on the kickoff game, and that not being a touchback could have been more devastating for North Carolina. But if you're Mac Brown and company, you'll take Khalil Herbert only getting out to about the 30-yard line.
Great field position for Virginia Tech. Now you have to be able to take advantage of this great field position that the penalty and Khalil Herbert set you up with. It's going to be Braxton Burmeister taking the snap. He's looking to his right. Burmeister rolling right. Going to spike it into the ground after he was under pressure. It looked like it was Hopper in on the pressure for North Carolina, but straight into the ground for Burmeister will bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they were trying to set up the screen on the right side to Nick Gallo. He barely had his, he had his back turned to Burmeister. It was not set up properly. North Carolina sniffed it out. I think Virginia Tech has run one too many screen plays. It's the favorite of Brad Cornelson. It's the jet sweep. It's the bubble screen, getting his playmakers in the open field. But when it isn't set up, there's not very many other routes that Burmeister can go to. And the only choice he had was either take the sack or spike it into the ground.
A handoff for North Carolina. It's going to be Braxton Burmeister on the run for Virginia Tech. It will be 3rd and short, 3rd and long for North Carolina. My God, I cannot speak today. For Virginia Tech, 3rd and 10.
It feels like it's always been North Carolina football, so I can't blame you on that one. But Burmeister on the keeper. It looked like it was being handed off to Herbert, but it was for no gain. North Carolina was all over the place. They've been running up and down this Virginia Tech team offensively and defensively, as Mac Brown and company were not able to get the substitution right, forced to burn a timeout, hoping to get the ball back to end the first half. But those defensive mental mistakes with having too many people on the field is almost inexcusable at a collegiate level.
Yeah, Mac Brown, like you mentioned, not able to get the substitution that he wanted. It's a timeout, North Carolina. 3:35 on the clock. Mac Brown and company lead Virginia Tech 28-14. The last time Mac Brown defeated Virginia Tech was in the 1980s when he was still the head coach of Tulane. Since then, Brown taking the job at North Carolina, taking the job at Texas where he won a national championship in 2005, retiring before coming back to re-coach the Tar Heels and leading them right now to a number 8 rankings in the national polls.
Yeah, Mac Brown had a lot of talented players at Texas, Vince Young to say the least, but looking to start a new legacy here in North Carolina.
Burmeister will have 2 receivers on either side of him. Burmeister looking long, but he's going to go about 10 yards He's got his man in Tavion Robinson. It looked like he was standing about 11 yards away from the line of scrimmage, had to come in about 9 yards away to make the catch. It is a toss-up on whether or not that's a first down. Tavion Robinson with the catch from Burmeister. They are going to rule it short of the line, 4th down and 1. And Virginia Tech, not afraid to go for it on 4th and 1, are going to take the field. Looked like that pass could have gone either way. Trey Turner coming under center. And now we're going to have whistles, all referees closing in on the football, standing at the right hash mark, and it looks like we will have a review on the spot of the ball of the Robinson catch.
Yeah, it looked like the line judge, Dion Lawrence, this is his second time we've called his name before. He's been in great position. Normally you don't really want to talk about the officials because then they might be in poor position, but he was right there, and, you know, Tavion Robinson did have to come back to this ball. His feet were still past the line to gain, but it depends where he catches it. It's so close. Tyler, you talked about how it could go either way, but I don't think there's enough to overturn this call on the field and give Virginia Tech the first down. This will be about the best look. He catches it at about the 46 and a half. His feet are still up past the 47. The 47 is the line to gain. But it looks like the ball is caught at the 46 and a half yard line. I think this play will stand.
Yeah, not only that, but his momentum carried and back in between the sticks. I think this has a good chance of not only standing but being confirmed. It doesn't look like he was even clearly across that line when he caught the ball. We're going to get our official confirmation by Gary Patterson, and indeed the call was confirmed. Without a shadow of a doubt, it was not a first down. So 4th and 1, we'll see if Virginia Tech stays with their strategy of going for it on 4th and short. And it looks like they will, as Tavion Robinson is retaking the field with Braxton Burmeister.
You know, down 28-14, North Carolina has been almost unstoppable. You're going to have to try and score with them, and that means going for it.
Burmeister, Turner under center. About 15 on the play clock, and a hard count by Braxton Burmeister draws Jeremiah Gimmel off sides. A huge mental mistake for North Carolina that gives Virginia Tech another set of downs.
You know, this is the second mistake by the North Carolina defense this drive. You know, the timeout that needed to be taken for the substitution, and now a 4th down and 1. I don't even know if Virginia Tech was going to hike the ball. The offensive line did not flinch at all, but Gimmel just jumped off sides. You know, this entire game, Burmeister has gone with the 1 count on the clap, and Gimmel guessed wrong that time.
Khalil Herbert takes the handoff for about 2 yards. It was like a rugby-type scrum on the right side next to the Virginia Tech bench, trying to push both sides. Herbert ends up with a gain of about 2.
You know, and if you're Virginia Tech, you need to utilize this opportunity because they're not going to get it again. Mac Brown and company will be more disciplined next time there's a 4th and short. So don't expect North Carolina to jump off sides on a hard count again, as it looks like there's a down Tar Heel. He looked okay and then just kind of collapsed. He is on one knee. That's Eugene Asante, able to get up on his own. I'm not sure what the injury was. He was walking fine after the play and then just suddenly keeled over on the TV screen.
Well, the native of Virginia going down in Asante for North Carolina. Looks like he was okay. Hopped back up. Walked, more so ran off the field on his own power, but had to come out of the game due to him being checked out by the training staff for North Carolina. 2nd down and 8 for Virginia Tech following the Khalil Herbert run. Burmeister has 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Now Robinson, a fake jet sweep. Burmeister's going to take it. He got hit hard by Jeremiah Gimmel. A gain of about 4 on the play. That will bring up 3rd down and 6 for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, on that one, I think Burmeister should have given that to Tavion Robinson. They have James Mitchell and Trey Turner sealing their defensive backs on the perimeter. That could have gone for plus yardage for Robinson. But Burmeister's been running the ball pretty well so far.
I stand corrected. It was 3rd down and 4. Now they're going to find Tavion Robinson on a bubble screen. He's going to be hit at about a gain of 1 or a gain of none. It was in that halfway mark, but it's going to be 3rd down and about mid-range, either 3 or 4 yards. It will be 4th down and 4, a no-gain bubble screen to Tavion Robinson.
You know, if you're the Virginia Tech offense, you need to find more in that playbook outside of the screens and the design quarterback runs. This North Carolina defense is extremely disciplined outside of that one offsides call, and they have been predicting and sniffing out the Virginia Tech screens. Cornelsen needs to come up with something new on this 4th and 3.
Just above a minute remaining in the first half. 28-14, North Carolina leads. Virginia Tech trying to score again. Another hard count. This time they don't get anybody jumping off the line. Virginia Tech forced to call a timeout as the play clock hit zeros. So the first timeout taken by Virginia Tech couldn't get a man to jump off sides.
I'm sure Mac Brown was telling his defense on this 4th down, you do not move until that ball is hiked, especially to Jeremiah Gimmel. We knew that North Carolina wasn't going to jump again. Obviously, Virginia Tech needs to try, but this gives Brad Cornelsen and Justin Fuente an extra 90 seconds to kind of draw something up in that huddle and pick a play in that diverse playbook that can get them only 3 yards.
It'll be 4th down and 3, 99 rushing yards for Virginia Tech compared to 181 for North Carolina. 133 passing yards for North Carolina compared to only 73 for Virginia Tech. North Carolina outdoing Virginia Tech on what they've been doing better so far, and that's the running game.
Yeah, North Carolina, has just been running up and down with Carter and Williams. Expect this to continue in the second half, especially if North Carolina can keep this lead as they look to kind of bleed the second half away from Virginia Tech. But first of all, Virginia Tech needs to convert this 4th down, and we'll go from there.
They are going for it on a 4th and 3. A minute 15 remain in the first half. 1 minute 14 seconds, I should say. 2 receivers on either side of Burmeister. He looks over the middle to Trey Turner. He was wrapped up. Turner looking for a flag, but he's not going to get one. A turnover on downs. A huge misplay for Virginia Tech as they give North Carolina great field position with 71 seconds remaining in the half.
Yeah, we'll look at the replay. Trey Morrison was in coverage. It was a bang-bang play. I think the reason why the officials didn't call it because it was, potentially deemed uncatchable behind Trey Turner. It looked like Morrison got there a half step early, but, Turner was not going to be able to make that catch, even if Morrison wasn't in the area.
So it will be a turnover on downs. They obviously did not call that pass interference on Morrison that Turner was looking for. So North Carolina's offense will set up on their own 42-yard line. Sam Howell looking to his left side. Got a man for about 3 yards. That's going to be number 5 for North Carolina in Daz Newsome. Daz Newsome, not a lot of catches in their first 2 games against Syracuse and Boston College, getting a lot of touches today against the Hokies.
Yeah, we'll see what North Carolina does to end the half. I think they'll probe the Virginia Tech defense to see what they can get, and then make the decision if they're just going to sit on it, kick the field goal, or try and punch it in.
Michael Carter, a gain of 5 yards to the left side. Tisdale in on the tackle for Virginia Tech. Will be a 3rd and short for North Carolina. 30 seconds to play. The Tar Heels working with 1 timeout compared to Virginia Tech's 2. Howell to the left side. He's got Diami Brown, who steps out of bounds at around the Virginia Tech 43-yard line. Clock will stop at 22 seconds. 1st down, North Carolina. And even if you get a field goal, that could be a huge play for North Carolina.
Virginia Tech safeties are playing very close to the line of scrimmage, protecting against the run. So if North Carolina has a good, play action pass, they could get something, in the middle of that field.
Howell takes this snap. He's looking deep. He's throwing deep. Diami Brown all alone. Touchdown, North Carolina, with 16 seconds to play in the half.
Diami Brown, the deep play possibility, his 2nd over-the-top touchdown, just as we predicted. Tyler Matheny was playing way too close to that line of scrimmage, bit on the play action pass to Javonte Williams, and Jermaine Waller is not fast enough to keep up with Diami Brown. He needs that over-the-top help. Waller has been playing so good in this first half on the outside against Corrales and Newsome, but Diami Brown got the best of him on that one.
With 16 seconds left, it almost seemed like North Carolina was just going to sit on it with some short plays, but going deep, catching Virginia Tech off guard. They re-extend their lead to 21 points just before the half, as Atkins' kick is good. just taking a look at the replay, Brown was all alone with man coverage and just beats his defender at around the 30-yard line. Tech couldn't catch back up to catch Diami Brown, trips as they cross the goal line, and that was Jermaine Waller on the coverage for Virginia Tech.
You know, Virginia Tech was playing one deep safety. Tyler Matheny was standing about 5 yards behind Rayshard Ashby, who was playing even closer to the line of scrimmage. So just not a good coverage scheme for Virginia Tech. They were playing the underneath, assuming North Carolina would play short and go for the field goal. But with Diami Brown, you just hit streak and you lob it up to him and see what he can do.
Well, 16 seconds on the clock. We'll see if Virginia Tech tries to respond. They do have 2 timeouts to work with. Kim set to kick it away for North Carolina. He will boot it through the end zone for a touchback. Herbert catches, takes a knee in between the A and R in Tar Heels in the end zone. Virginia Tech will bring it out to the 25-yard line. Clint, do you think Virginia Tech tries to answer even with a field goal with 2 timeouts with only 16 seconds on the clock?
I think it's going to be indicative of what their first play is. If it's a run play, I would say no. I think Virginia Tech was waiting to see how Herbert would choose to take the kickoff. Starting at your own 25, you're down by 21. You don't want to force something and have a turnover and the deficit balloon anymore. I think Virginia Tech is going to run the ball first time. If they get a first down, they might use one of their timeouts and try a deep pass. But I think as Burmeister drops back to pass now, we'll see how this play goes.
Burmeister, all the time in the world, looking deep. Looked for Nick Gallo, who was in double coverage, almost triple coverage, as Chaz Surratt was closing in on Gallo. But just a pass out of bounds. Not a great look to Nick Gallo. They were trying to go long.
Now with 9 seconds left, 2nd and 10, that play almost ate up a full double digits. I think they might try one more pass towards the sideline to see if they can get anything going, but I think this is just going to go to halftime, Tyler.
Well, 9 seconds, and there is an injury on the North Carolina defense. That's going to be number 1 in Kyler McMichael, the sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a transfer student from Clemson in his freshman season with Clemson. Played in 12 games, only 2 tackles on 101 snaps with the Tigers. Going to North Carolina where he thought he could have a little bit more playing time, and that's been true so far for McMichael.
Yeah, McMichael is an exceptional slot quarterback, comes in with those trio sets. Has great ball awareness, not utilized very much in run-heavy sets just because of the plays of Trey Morrison and Don Chapman. There's a big backlog in that North Carolina secondary of talented players, but McMichael definitely in there because of an obvious passing situation for Virginia Tech. Talented on that, was in the coverage with Nick Gallo, just seemed to have some sort of collision with a Tech player.
Well, with 9 seconds left, North Carolina switching to prevent defense. Burmeister takes the snap. He wants to look long, but instead he'll look short. Looked at Tavion Robinson, but that pass was tipped and ended up more towards Jalen Holston, the backup running back for Virginia Tech. And with 4 seconds to play, you have to expect that they're just going to run the clock out.
Yeah, I don't even know if that ball was tipped. It was just air sailed over his head. It was a drag route from Robinson, and it went about 5 yards over his head. He needed to be, closer to James Mitchell's height to make that play. Virginia Tech is lucky that wasn't picked off. I fully expect a run here.
Well, it will be Jalen Holston, the 3rd-string running back, getting the snap. 10 yards, make it 12 as he's spun around by Jeremiah Gimmel. A good gain for Jalen Holston in the garbage time of the first half. Virginia Tech will receive the second half kickoff. Clint McLeod on play-by-play when we return for 33:04 Sports. North Carolina leading 35-14 at the half.
Hello and welcome back to 33:04 Sports. My name is Clint McLeod alongside my broadcast partner Tyler Katz. We are calling it from our living room in Blacksburg, Virginia, but this game obviously being a part on in Chapel Hill for this one as North Carolina takes a commanding lead entering the second half, and it has been led by the offensive play of Sam Howell and the combination of Michael Carter and Javonte Williams. More emphasis on the second with 2 rushing touchdowns for Javonte Williams. Michael Carter has been used sparingly so far, especially in the potential pass situations. Daz Newsome, 3 catches coming into this game. He had 3 catches on the first 2 drives. So expect Daz Newsome to have that breakout game. Already has this touchdown, the first of the season. Family connections to Virginia Tech. Had a great game against Virginia Tech last season. Is from Hampton, Virginia. Recruited by Virginia Tech, but says that he was passed up in the recruiting process as Virginia Tech offered him a scholarship too late in the process and decided to pick up on North Carolina. North Carolina obviously led by legendary coach Mack Brown in his second season, played for Texas, inducted into the, he's been a collegiate coach for 42 years, had a national championship in 2005. For Virginia Tech, Braxton Burmeister got the start because of, the injury to Hendon Hooker at the beginning of the season, having heart issues, Tyler. But, Braxton Burmeister played well in that first half, but we haven't seen a lot of Khalil Herbert.
No, and that's really been the storyline for Virginia Tech's offense. Khalil Herbert, his teammates started a Heisman campaign. Some odds books have Herbert in the Heisman odds, but Cornelsen and Fuente have not been using him in the first half. They're down 21, and it just makes you question, why hasn't Herbert played more?
As we get off here in the second half, as North Carolina is kicking from right to left, out of the back of the end zone is the kickoff from King. And we will get started here with the second half as Virginia Tech gets the ball. Unsure who will start at quarterback as both Burmeister and Hooker enter into the huddle, but we shall see.
That's a very interesting start of the half strategy, putting both quarterbacks in so the opposing defense doesn't know what they're going to expect to start the second half, and that really comes when you have 2 quarterbacks of equal strength.
And speaking of which, Hendon Hooker comes out here in the first drive of the third quarter. We'll see how much he uses Hooker. He used Hooker on one drive last time, as the first play of the half is handed off on an inside zone to Herbert, running from right to left. It seems he gets about 4 yards. Is Hendon Hooker going to be the quarterback this entire half? We saw him in one drive in that first quarter. What do you expect from Fuente?
Well, I think it all depends on what happens on this drive. If Hendon Hooker shows that he can slice through the North Carolina defense that Braxton Burmeister hasn't been able to do, I think we're going to see Hooker not only for the remainder of this half, but potentially for the remainder of this season.
Hooker, a designed roll to the right side, only gets 2 yards, takes a big hit on that one from number 42. Tyrone Hopper has seen him provide pressure on the quarterback, but now helping in the run game.
Yeah, and this is going to be a huge play for Virginia Tech here. They haven't been great on third downs all season, so this can be a huge opportunity on a third and mid-range.
3rd and 5. It was just 2nd and 7. Hooker in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left. Herbert flanking him to the left in the shotgun. Hooker, 2-step drop deep down the sideline to Turner. It is a contested ball, incomplete, but will there be a flag? Yes, there will. Pass interference probably on Kyler McMichael in coverage against Trey Turner.
Easy call. He was smothering Trey Turner, pretty much using his back as a shield to block a ball that even came close to being in Trey Turner's hands, and that's exactly what it is, a pass interference call called against Kyler McMichael. An easy call, but a learning opportunity for the sophomore.
Yeah, there was contact both ways, but I think the biggest thing is McMichael never turned his head away. And unfortunately, he did celebrate after the play, giving the incomplete sign, but obviously it was incomplete because of some extra contact. And that gives Virginia Tech a 1st down and 10 at their own 45, potentially giving a little jump start to this Virginia Tech offense. Hendon Hooker, a trio to his left side, hands it off once again on the inside zone to Khalil Herbert. And it appears he is going absolutely nowhere as Brock Hoffman, the pulling of the center, was not able to seal that inside zone, and Herbert stuffed for no gain.
An untraditional run from Herbert. You don't usually see him get back to the line of scrimmage without gaining plus yardage.
Well, now he does as a quick snap as Khalil Herbert running right now. It takes 4 North Carolina Tar Heels to bring him down. There is a flag on the play. We'll see as Virginia Tech tried to quick snap it as North Carolina was making substitutions. We'll see if North Carolina got that substitution off or if there was 12 still on the field.
Indeed it is.
Gary Patterson is doing just that. It was a great heads-up play by Hendon Hooker to quick snap it as North Carolina was making defensive substitutions for that 1st down and 10. And now, Virginia Tech is able to penalize North Carolina for their mental mistake.
Yeah, North Carolina, a lot of mental mistakes so far. Their penalties have far outweighed Virginia Tech's.
Now it's 2nd and 5 as that play does not count for Virginia Tech here at the 50-yard line. Another handoff to Khalil Herbert running left, and he is stuffed about a yard short of that line to gain. It is 3rd down and 1.
And Virginia Tech, 3rd downs seem to be their kryptonite. But on the flip side, those 1-yard downage, they seem to work.
Khalil Herbert gets the 1st down and more as he enters North Carolina territory down to the 45, a gain of 6. Khalil Herbert has suddenly had this resurgence in this 3rd quarter. We hadn't seen much of him in that 1st and 2nd, shadowed heavily by Braxton Burmeister and Raheem Blackshear, but Khalil Herbert getting his touches in this 3rd quarter. 1st down and 10 for Virginia Tech at the North Carolina 40. A rollout from Hendon Hooker, and he screens past it to James Mitchell, usually used in his block and roll, but now able to get the screen pass, a good gain on 1st down.
Yeah, and this has been what Virginia Tech has been missing, with Burmeister really taking over the game. We talked about how the wet weather would make Virginia Tech and North Carolina go to the ground game, but in that first half, Virginia Tech seemed to have more of an air raid offense.
A power option for Virginia Tech with Nick Gallo, hands it off to Raheem Blackshear. Raheem Blackshear spins for the 1st down as he is into North Carolina territory under the 30-yard line. Bringing in Nick Gallo, the wide receiver, but 6'4", the sophomore, 247, almost being utilized as an extra tight end with James Mitchell in these obvious run situations. It's a 1st down and 10 for Virginia Tech. They swing Raheem Blackshear out to the left. Hooker keeps it, but gets planted at the line of scrimmage. The big body of the defensive line for North Carolina stuffs Hendon Hooker for a gain of nothing.
Yeah, Chaz Surratt, the graduate for North Carolina, a big hit on Hendon Hooker. And regardless of player, you don't want to see your quarterback hit that hard the way Surratt did on Hooker.
Hooker got injured last year against these two teams as Quincy Patterson had to finish out the game as well as play against North Carolina. Hooker looking to stay healthy after returning from COVID-19 heart complications. Trey Turner moving down to the screen in motion from top to bottom, the lone receiver on that bottom. Hooker in the shotgun with Raheem Blackshear to his left. He pump fakes it to Blackshear and finds Trey Turner in the end zone for a touchdown, but we will see if it stands. There appears to be a flag as Raheem Blackshear was on the play action pass, but we will see. Trey Turner does not look happy. This touchdown might be coming back.
Yeah, and this could be a huge blow for Virginia Tech, and indeed an illegal shift against the Hokies.
It appears it will be on Raheem Blackshear as he rotated from Hendon Hooker's right in the shotgun to his left. I think the call was he was not set in that play action set, which allowed Trey Turner to be so wide open. So a touchdown being torn off the board for Virginia Tech. This could have been a huge momentum shift as we look forward in this 3rd quarter. We'll see how imperative that missed touchdown was. It is now 2nd down and 15 at the North Carolina 34-yard line. Virginia Tech looking to replicate the success they just had with Trey Turner. Another play-action pass, a screen set up for Raheem Blackshear, but that is going absolutely nowhere. A loss of 4 as Virginia Tech had Blackshear and Herbert in the game. The screen went to Blackshear, and Taylor was able to snuff it out as well as Chaz Surratt for a loss of 4, bringing it to 3rd and 19, Tyler.
And the screen for Virginia Tech seems to be a flip of a coin. Either it goes for a lot of yardage, and it's a great play call for Virginia Tech, or they end up losing 5 yards. It's just a 50-50 chance on when Virginia Tech calls the screen.
3rd and 19 now. Virginia Tech needs positive yards to get into Brian Johnson's field goal range. A sack would kick them out as Hooker once again in the shotgun looking left, has pressure. Nick Gallo, the intended receiver, and he falls down. Like we talked about earlier in this game, slippery conditions leading to the incomplete pass. North Carolina sent 6 as Virginia Tech was blocking 5. Gallo was wide open. The pass from Hooker was on target, but just the slippery conditions forced the incompletion.
I think it was a bit thrown thrown behind the intended receiver, and because of that, the receiver had to go back and slipped on the wet turf, causing the incompletion.
Brian Johnson will come out for a 55-yard field goal attempt. His career log is 54. The kick is up. It is good. Brian Johnson, a new career log with 55 yards, right off the foot, and it looked like it was swinging left, but it got a visiting field turn of the wind as that hooks right down the middle.
Yeah, and for Brian Johnson, this has really been a redemption arc. His last missed field goal was in one of the 6 overtimes that they played against North Carolina. Since then, a 54-yard career long in the Belk Bowl against Kentucky, and a new career long here at Kenan Memorial Stadium. A 55-yard field goal, a new career long for Brian Johnson.
Virginia Tech was still able to get points on that drive, what is most important, but, the net gain is a -4. They had the touchdown, but because of the legal shift, that will be wiped off the board. So we'll see going forward in this game how pivotal those 4 points play as Virginia Tech will look to claw their way back into it. So Virginia Tech's play goes, from starting at their own 25-yard line, ends up at the North Carolina 38. A 55-yard field goal by Brian Johnson is good. The touchback by John Parker Romo sails into the North Carolina end zone, and North Carolina will start the drive at their own 25-yard line. So Virginia Tech with their first full drive with Hendon Hooker. What did you like from the Hokies?
Well, I think if you take a look at the play-by-play, it was Khalil Herbert, Hendon Hooker, Khalil Herbert, Hendon Hooker. So I think utilizing these two players that have proven themselves to be effective on the Virginia Tech offense are going to work for Virginia Tech moving forward.
Virginia Tech needs a stop now, was able to get some points, not the touchdown they wanted, as the handoff goes to Michael Carter, and Jermaine Waller and Tyler Matheny is in on the tackle, limiting Michael Carter to only 3 yards. Obviously, Carter is so explosive, but if this Virginia defense can limit him to under 4 yards per carry, they can get off the field, something that they've struggled with to this point. It is 2nd down and 7, 9:30 remaining here in the third quarter. The ball is on the left hash mark right by the ACC logo. Another handoff to Carter makes a man miss in Hollyfield, but Emmanuel Belmar there to help corral Carter before he gets to that first down marker and brings up a crucial 3rd down for North Carolina as the Hokies are looking to get off the field on a 3-and-out.
Yeah, and stopping Carter and Williams are going to be the keys to winning this game for Virginia Tech, making that comeback.
Javonte Williams now in the ball game with Daz Newsome on the shift to the right. It looked like they were going to try and take a quick snap on a direct snap to Newsome, but not so much as North Carolina looks to the sideline and resets their offense. Howell in the backfield with Williams flanking to his right. The handoff goes to Williams, running left, finds a hole, makes a man miss, and is finally brought down at the 40-yard line, but too little, too late for the Hokies, as it is a 1st down for the Tar Heels.
And this is definitely not what you want to see. I believe Virginia Tech was prepared for the air raid offense, but with the rainy conditions in Chapel Hill, it has been Carter and Williams stepping up for the Tar Heels.
Sam Howell once again in the shotgun on the hard count with the 2 count. Hands it back off to Javonte Williams, running right up the gut. Gets past Hollyfield, and another 1st down. Virginia Tech's linebackers have been so solid these past 2 years with Ashby and Hollyfield, but they are getting carved up right up the middle.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the 2 running backs for North Carolina, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, both on the watch list for the Doak Walker Award, which awards the top running back in the nation. So to have 2 running backs on that list is huge for the Tar Heels.
7:55 remaining. Another pitch to Javonte Williams running left. Seals on the outside by the offensive lineman, and it seems like Javonte Williams might have gone out of bounds, but the play is still going on as Javonte Williams is down inside the 20-yard line. A beautiful play by Diami Brown, it looks like, on the seal on Jermaine Waller on the outside.
Yeah, and this is really what you want to see in receivers, not only being able to make these big plays, but block where it matters and set up your running game.
Yeah, it was listed as a shovel pass, so that is a pass completed, not a run attempt for Sam Howell. as Michael Carter is back in the game. He takes the handoff running right. He gets a seal from Ashby, cuts back left. He finds a hole up the middle, and it's a touchdown for North Carolina. What a play by Michael Carter.
Very impressive running game for North Carolina. Like I mentioned, the air raid is what's expected of North Carolina. They're using ground and pound against Virginia Tech, catching them off guard. Clearly did not prepare for Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, and they are punishing Virginia Tech on the ground, finding the score again. This is almost now an insurmountable lead, 42-17 dominance by the 8th-ranked Heels.
As the extra point is good, and finally we have some good news with Joshua Izzuto. He has been penalized heavy at the beginning of the game, but his seal on Rayshard Ashby allowed Carter to cut back across the middle, initially running right, cut back left, was extremely patient and able to find his way for the 16-yard scamper to, increase this North Carolina lead. Virginia Tech gets 3, North Carolina gets 7. So a +8 differential as Virginia Tech was not able to capitalize on the touchdown, and that +4 in North Carolina's favor. So North Carolina 42, Virginia Tech 17. We'll be right back on 3304 Sports. Hello and welcome back to 3304 Sports. Clint McLeod, Tyler Katz. We're happy to have you along for the call. North Carolina with Michael Carter able to put a nail in Virginia Tech's defense, unable to get off the field on 2 crucial third downs as North Carolina extend their leads to 42-17 as Atkins gets the PAT to go. Kim now set off to kick it off and sails into the back of the Virginia Tech end zone, lands in the R in Carolina as Virginia Tech will get the ball at the 25-yard line, but Sam Howell looked good on that last drive. But, the minimal passing effort so far as it's been the running game, Tyler.
Yeah, but when North Carolina goes through the air, it has been working for them. Diami Brown, 2 big receptions. Daz Newsome, a touchdown reception as well. So North Carolina really, we talk about dual threat quarterbacks. They're a dual threat offense. Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech, the passing game hasn't been working for them. Khalil Herbert more so doing the work for the Hokies.
Play action pass from Hendon Hooker, pulls it back, looks over the middle for James Mitchell, tipped up in the air, and he's able to catch it. What concentration from Mitchell, down inside the 30, inside the 20, cutting back left, and finally brought down at the North Carolina 18. What concentration from James Mitchell.
Yeah, and we've seen this from Virginia Tech before, a bobbled pass, able to keep your composure, bringing it in, and making the catch. A huge play from James Mitchell.
Trey Turner down there on the field to provide blocking for Virginia Tech as there is a down Tar Heel, and that is Don Chapman. He has been having such a great game to this point, but did get wrapped up with James Mitchell, and he is down inside the 10-yard line. It appears that he is able to get up on his own, but a little gimpy on that one. But what a huge play by Hendon Hooker in this Virginia Tech offense, where it seemed like they were down for the count, down 42-17, but the best thing that they can do is strike quickly in this third quarter.
Yeah, and that 50-yard play is absolutely huge for Virginia Tech. They had to settle for 3 points on the 55-yard field goal by Brian Johnson, but they're trying to strike back now on the 18.
Inside the red zone, Hooker hands off to Herbert, running right, gets a block from Hoffman. Inside the 10, finally dragged down by Gimmel inside the 10-yard line. A gain of 8 from Khalil Herbert. A great seal by Hoffman and Derisau for Virginia Tech. Silas Danzy as well on the perimeter at right tackle, replacing because of COVID concerns, making the start, but is no mystery to big scenes as Hendon Hooker keeps it right up the middle into the first down inside the 5-yard line, brought down by Taylor as Virginia Tech gets first and goal inside the North Carolina 5-yard line. Hendon Hooker on the keeper.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker more so a fourth-string running back for Virginia Tech behind Khalil Herbert, Raheem Blackshear, and Jalen Holston. But he's good at carving up opposing defenses on the ground.
Khalil Herbert rotates out right, leaving Hendon Hooker all by himself. Designed quarterback run to the right, finds a hole. Touchdown, Virginia Tech, Hendon Hooker.
A huge play by Hendon Hooker. His first series or his first half that he's able to start for Virginia Tech, drives his team down the field in 2 drives for 2 scores, a field goal, and now a touchdown. It just really shows why Hendon Hooker was able to have success last year for Virginia Tech. Now hopping back in the 3rd game of the season, trying to bring Virginia Tech back in this game from this huge deficit.
Hendon Hooker, uses his legs to get the touchdown, but the biggest play of that drive was the 57-yard pass to James Mitchell. Hendon Hooker had 123 carries last season, nearly 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, his first touchdown score of the season. Able to do it with his legs and his arms, as he is 3 for 5, 61 yards, 5 rushes for 17 yards, and the touchdown. Most of those 61 yards coming on that 57-yard completion. Now Virginia Tech able to score a touchdown. That 4 points that they miss on their first score may become a factor as they look to claw back into it. But the problem now is they have to give the ball back to North Carolina.
Yeah, and they've had a problem stopping North Carolina from scoring. Only 2 times stopping North Carolina on 2 punts on back-to-back drives in the second quarter. But now you're going to need your defense to take the momentum of this Virginia Tech score and put more points on the board to claw back at this huge deficit, which currently stands 42-24.
Virginia Tech set to kick off here, and it appears to be an onside kick recovered by, let's see where the official ruling is. Virginia Tech says they have it, and they do. It's an onside recovery by Virginia Tech. It is recovered by the kicker. Not Oscar Bradburn, Brian Johnson. Usually the kickoff specialist is John Parker Romo. Brian Johnson in to the kickoff, and he is able to pooch kick it 10 yards right down the field, and he recovers it. Brian Johnson, first a career long in his field goal attempt, now recovers the onside kick.
How about the special teams for the Hokies today? A pooch punt, 51 yards by Braxton Burmeister in the first quarter. A career-long 55-yard field goal by Brian Johnson. And Johnson, an onside kick, and who else to recover it but the man himself in Brian Johnson?
You know, North Carolina was not expecting it at all. Their heels were back, prepared to get the kickoff return. Obviously, they're going to take a look at this to see if it indeed went 10 yards. He was kicking it off from the 35, so it had to reach the 45. And let's take a look where he touches it. He touches it at the 46-yard line. I believe this call will stand. Brian Johnson, probably the biggest play of the special teams day, securing another possession for Virginia Tech. Still down quite a lot, but 42-24. This does give some life in that Virginia Tech offense.
Yeah, not only that, but you don't force your defense to make a stop on the red-hot North Carolina offense. Instead, just skipping that step and taking it back on the kickoff.
Yes, so the possession is confirmed for Virginia Tech after after Hendon Hooker's touchdown run on the possession before. Virginia Tech gets the ball back and in great field position at their 46-yard line. So the gamble pays off for Justin Fuente and company, but this might not be the only onside kick attempt we might have to see depending on the result of this drive.
And this could be huge if Virginia Tech converts, scoring a touchdown, assuming everything goes to plan with a normal 7-point touchdown. That makes it 42-31 and an 11-point game for Virginia Tech. We'll see if they can convert and score that touchdown.
Khalil Herbert in the backfield with Hendon Hooker. 2 receivers to his right. 2 tight ends set. Herbert gets the handoff, running right, finds some blockers, but runs right into the back of Hoffman and Nestor as, Khalil Herbert not able to, that play looked promising, but, it kind of collapsed, after, the 2-yard run. But Khalil Herbert running well here in this third quarter.
And Khalil Herbert not only running great in this third quarter, but his first 2 games, 26 attempts, 312 yards for a 12-yard average. Today averaging 4.6. North Carolina able to effectively shut him down.
Hendon Hooker looking left, finding Tavion Robinson. It is broken up by Kyler McMichael. It seemed he had learned from that previous pass interference. Contact from both sides, but the key to this, McMichael turns his head to the ball An unbelievable play. This is why they use him in obvious passing situations. Kyler McMichael, the sophomore from Atlanta, transferred out from Clemson, comes up huge, forcing a 3rd down and 8. If North Carolina can force the punt, they would have saved themselves, the special teams error with Virginia Tech recovering the onside kick. Trio wide receiver at the top of the screen. Hendon Hooker in the backfield with Khalil Herbert. Hands it off to Herbert, running right, cuts back left, finds a hole to the left side. One man to beat is McMichael. Trey Turner as the blocker. 10, 5, touchdown Virginia Tech. Khalil Herbert all the way for the touchdown, 52 yards.
And a big play. You wanted a quick score for if you're Virginia Tech after the onside kick. Save more time on the clock. I assume that Virginia Tech is going to have a normal kickoff now with John Parker Romo. You're still down 11 points. It's a 2-score game. But a big play, scoring quickly, able to get the ball back that much faster when your defense takes the field.
Those 4 net points that they lost earlier with that field attempt now becoming a possibility, as instead of a 1-score 7-point game, it is now a 2-score 11-point game. But at this point, Virginia Tech is happy to get points as they give the ball back to North Carolina, looking for yet another stop. But what a play by Brian Johnson. Obviously, the 52-yard scamper by Khalil Herbert capped off the drive, but this drive would not have existed without the special teams play of Brian Johnson.
Yeah, and Brian Johnson, have yourself a game. We don't often talk about kickers having amazing days, but an onside kick recovered by the kicker, as well as a career-long field goal. This is a career day for Brian Johnson, and a day he likely won't forget for a while.
Yeah, Brian Johnson last season had another outstanding year, was on the watch list for the NCAA's best kicker. Obviously, the Syracuse kicker beat him out with a better season, but Brian Johnson is proving once again why in Blacksburg he is the man on the kickoffs or on the field goal attempts, as he is taking over for Joey Sly, who is now in the NFL.
Yeah, and this is really what Virginia Tech is known for, that special teams unit. Beamer ball special teams when Frank Beamer was still the head coach, now Justin Fuente, and obviously Beamer's influence does not fall far from this Virginia Tech team.
Kickoff goes out of the back of the end zone. A graphic just appeared on the screen. Khalil Herbert spent 35 games at Kansas, 3 100-yard-plus games. He has spent 3 games at Virginia Tech, 3 100-plus yard games. So this could not have been a better situation for Khalil Herbert. A talented runner at Kansas, did not get the opportunities, but here in Blacksburg, he is the man, getting those 20-plus carries a game, which a powerhouse running back like him needs.
Yeah, and Khalil Herbert putting his name, like I mentioned, on those Heisman watch lists. A big season so far for Herbert.
Javonte Williams up the middle, stopped by Rayshard Ashby for a gain of 1. Ashby has struggled finding those gaps so far this game, but finally the defensive captain, the senior, is able to come up clutch, limiting the North Carolina explosive offense to 1 yard on the rush, where to this point they have been running up and down Virginia Tech, averaging 9 yards per rush, only getting 1 on that play. We'll see if Ashby can rally this defensive front. Another handoff by Javonte Williams. Another stop for Rayshard Ashby. This Virginia Tech defense appears to have had new life infused in them with the sudden resurgence, scoring 31 points, only behind by 40, to the 42 points of North Carolina. But Ashby, the defensive captain, making a name for himself. It's 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and the one word really describes that: momentum. The Virginia Tech team is fired up after 14 quick points, now wanting to make this stop.
Howell in the shotgun, a potential passing situation, takes the snap, looking to Michael Carter on the wheel route. Oh, he drops it. Michael Carter had the first down and more. It appeared he took his eye off the ball and saw Matheny closing, and if he was able to make Matheny miss, he was gone for the touchdown. An unfortunate break for North Carolina, but on the flip side, Virginia Tech got lucky.
Yeah, and that would have... He had one man to beat. If he gets past his defender, that's another score, and all of a sudden it's 48-31 UNC pending the extra point, but instead having Ben Kiernan come back out to punt.
A beauty of a punt, 50-plus yards as Robinson takes it, fielded at the 20-yard line, tries to return it only to the 23-yard line. So North Carolina having an unfortunate break with a dropped wheel route that would have given them first down and more, but Virginia Tech gets the ball back down 11. It seems now they are the unstoppable offense.
Yeah, and this has been a great drive so far. And Hendon Hooker, this all started when he started the second half. Hendon Hooker, give him credit, putting Virginia Tech back in the conversation. Now they're just down 2 scores. After this drive, Virginia Tech hopes to make it 1.
Virginia Tech taking this drive at the 23-yard line. Hooker hands the ball off once again to Khalil Herbert. He takes a hit but falls forward for a gain of 3. Still positive yards for Khalil Herbert. That's what the Hokies love to see. As Hendon Hooker, we talked about how much will he be used in this third quarter. Has been on every drive. Burmeister still on the sideline, and with Virginia Tech making this roaring comeback, don't expect to see Burmeister for the rest of this game. Trey Turner in motion, a fake jet sweep. Hooker rolling left, looking downfield, stepping up in the pocket, is able to escape and finds the first down marker. Hendon Hooker, great pocket awareness as it was collapsing, stepped up in the pocket after it wasn't a designed quarterback run.
And that's what Hendon Hooker does so well. When he sees a hole in that offensive line and no receivers open, Hendon Hooker is so great at pulling the trigger on taking off and gaining yards.
2 receivers at the top of the screen, a twin tight end set in Gallo and James Mitchell. Hendon Hooker in the shotgun, Khalil Herbert to his right. A hard count and nobody flinches. Khalil Herbert moves to his left now. Now hands it off to Herbert, running right, trying to find the edge, and does, but is tripped out of bounds by Jeremiah Gimmel. Khalil Herbert, such an extremely patient runner, waiting for the blocks to surface, and is able to find that outside corner. Not able to get the first down, but still positive yards as he gains 7.
And Herbert's been so good. 15 attempts, 117 yards, increasing his average. I think the last time that we checked on his average, it was around 4.6, now up to 7.8, 2 touchdowns on the day for Herbert.
Having that 52-yard scramble goes to your benefit. Hooker in the shotgun by himself, hands it off to Blackshear coming on the jet sweep. Blackshear gets the first down and more. Blackshear ran well in that first half. Haven't seen his name in this third quarter because of the resurgence of Khalil Herbert. Obviously, Herbert getting a couple plays off, and Blackshear capitalizes, getting the first down on the motion sweep.
Yeah, and Blackshear, a big name for Virginia Tech, overshadowed by Khalil Herbert's performance so far, but a great player for Rutgers. 14 starts with Rutgers. He's planned a split time with Khalil Herbert, but still a great talent even after Herbert's surge of performance.
James Mitchell goes in motion. Another handoff to Blackshear. Blackshear fighting, keeping his legs churning, and fights for 3 yards. Virginia Tech had 190 yards in that first half, almost eclipsing that now exclusively in the third quarter with big plays from James Mitchell of 57 yards, Khalil Herbert of 52 yards. Virginia Tech now at 233 rushing yards, 140 passing yards, slowly creeping up on the totals of North Carolina at 370. Play action pass, Hooker dumps it off to James Mitchell, makes a man miss, finds the first down marker, lowers his shoulder, and climbs his way into North Carolina territory, down to the North Carolina 33-yard line. A great, little rollout from Hooker, avoiding pressure, and James Mitchell once again making a big play, making Jeremiah Gimmel miss.
Yeah, a huge play. And Jeremiah Gimmel, he's been a coin toss for North Carolina, either making the big play or missing a tackle. Really needs to have more consistency to stop Virginia Tech and stop the momentum.
First and 10, 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Obviously, time not a factor in the quarter. Virginia Tech got the North Carolina 33. Khalil Herbert back in the game. Play action pass, tries to swing it to the outside, and Robinson and batted down at the line of scrimmage. Great play by Renee and the North Carolina defensive front to bat that ball down.
Yeah, and a huge swat for North Carolina. The receiver was wide open and had daylight in front of him. and a great play for North Carolina to stop Hooker from completing that pass.
That pass was intended for Caleb Smith, the former walk-on, earned scholarship last season. His time is improving as North Carolina scrambles to make defensive adjustments for this Virginia Tech team. Hendon Hooker rolling out right, looking deep, finds Tavion Robinson. Robinson makes a man miss at the 10, at the 5. He scampers into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech.
And within one score, this game was a 42-17 score. Now 42-37, about to be 38 pending the extra point. 20 or 21 unanswered from Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech appears to be going for 2. At least Hooker is out there for the moment, trying to cut this deficit down to under a one-score game, meaning that if they convert, this will be 42-39, and a field goal would tie the game. Hendon Hooker in the shotgun, rolling to his right, and it appears we will get a timeout. We shall see what the official ruling is. North Carolina does take a timeout with 15 seconds remaining, trying to hold Virginia Tech from this two-point conversion. But, you know, Tyler, that field goal at the beginning of the half that came after a touchdown was taken off the board due to penalty. You know, making its impact now, because you add those 4 points to Virginia Tech's score, and they're an extra point away from tying it instead of having to go for 2 and play the field goal game.
Yeah, and it was a case of whether or not they go for it, because if I recall correctly, it was a 4th and short when Brian Johnson kicked that field goal. But not only that, but the touchdown being called back is really more so a dagger, so it's not a if we would have went for it, it's a what would have happened if we didn't commit that penalty.
And it was a silly mental mistake. It was an illegal formation play on Raheem Blackshear when he was rotating from Hendon Hooker's right to his left in the shotgun. He was not set before the snap, so the touchdown pass to Trey Turner was wiped off the board, and Virginia Tech was forced to settle and stalled for a field goal. But now coming out of the timeout, Hendon Hooker rushes to the line quickly, and James Mitchell makes the rotation move on the line of scrimmage. Hooker looking to his right, trying to find James Mitchell, broken up by Kyler McMichael. Almost another interception on the two-point conversion. We saw that last week against Boston College to seal it, and North Carolina is able to force Virginia Tech to a failed two-point conversion, keeping it a 5-point game. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as we are calling virtually from this game in North Carolina. Virginia Tech had 14 points and 195 yards in their first 7 drives. Their last 4 drives, all in the third quarter, 23 points, 243 yards. The resurgence of Hendon Hooker in this third quarter has brought Virginia Tech all the way back. It is 42-37. A little squib kick fielded at the 3-yard line by Michael Carter. Michael Carter scampers up to the 24-yard line and is absolutely demolished by John Parker Romo. It has been the kickers on special teams for Virginia Tech, and Sam Howell is looking to retake the field, has had 2 stops recently in this third quarter, both of them coming off of drop passes. What is if you're North Carolina, are you starting to get a little nervous?
Yeah, a couple of stops made by Virginia Tech. They have the momentum. Their team is pumped up. There's a lull in energy for North Carolina. You need to score here for the Tar Heels to take away that momentum from Virginia Tech. Not only that, but save their lead.
Let's see what the Virginia Tech front can do with 9 seconds here in the third. Javonte Williams takes the handoff going left, is absolutely stuffed by Pollard. Virginia Tech is now, has this newfound energy as Pollard is rushing to the aid to convert the tackle for no gain, as that is the end of the third quarter here in Chapel Hill. North Carolina is still leading this one 42-37. We'll be right back. Welcome back as we start the fourth quarter. Virginia Tech outscored North Carolina 23-7 in that third quarter to crawl all the way back, starting with the fresh 15 and running left is Javonte Williams up to it appears the 32-yard line, as obviously we switch fields at the end of every quarter. Yes, it is up to the North Carolina 32. On the tackle is Alan Tisdale, returning to this game after COVID-related symptoms. for the past 2 weeks. Alan Tisdale joining that linebacker core of Rayshard Ashby and Dax Hollyfield. North Carolina has a plus 86-point margin in the fourth quarter, absolutely dominating, and that is not a good sign for Virginia Tech, still down by 5. North Carolina in the set, 3rd and 3, a swing pass outside to Michael Carter, gets the first down and more. It is pushed out of bounds by Parker, it appears, on that defensive end from Virginia Tech, but a beautiful swing pass, and this time Michael Carter does not drop the wheel route.
Yeah, and Michael Carter has been known for his running game, but a beautiful play through the air from Sam Howell. And Sam Howell, not a name we've been calling a lot today simply because of the weather in Chapel Hill.
You know, that goes for 15, and now Michael Carter running left past midfield into Virginia Tech territory, breaks a tackle, and Pollard again on the tackle. First down, North Carolina in Virginia Tech territory at the 35-yard line. So Michael Carter gets a 15-yard reception, now 18 yards on the rush. He will take a break as Javonte Williams comes back into the game. Has been the workhorse in the first half, but Michael Carter is catching up. It's almost as if it is a competition between the two of them to see who can burn Virginia Tech more.
And so far, it's been Carter, but Javonte Williams, a beautiful day as well. 2 amazing backs for UNC.
A pitch to the right side, and Javonte Williams says, "Look at me go," as he gets 23 yards down the sideline to Virginia Tech's 12-yard line. It seems like whenever North Carolina brings in a fresh back, they show why their legs are so good. Poor pursuit from the Virginia Tech defense, and as you just said, you know, it's been the Michael Carter show here in the second half, but Javonte Williams says, hey, I'm really good too, and he gets 23 yards down to the Virginia Tech 12. Javonte Williams now currently leads Michael Carter with 137 yards on the ground compared to 136, as there is a down Virginia Tech Hokie, and that is J.R. Walker. He has been forced to play because Divine Diablo, Brian Murray were out with COVID-related symptoms, as well as Kenoda Jenkins. Chamari Carter was ejected in the first half because of targeting. So Virginia Tech missing a lot in their secondary, but it's not the secondary that has been torched here in the later parts of this game. It has been the front 7 of Virginia Tech, where they are almost all exclusively healthy.
Yeah, and so far for Virginia Tech, their defensive line, 7 sacks on Duke quarterback Chase Bryce just last week, and now they're being burned by the North Carolina ground attack. But North Carolina, they've known they've had a great ground attack, but they've been overshadowed by the air raid offense.
Tech has only 1 sack to this point, looking for another. It is as a handoff screen to Daz Newsome going left, breaks a tackle, 10-5, touchdown, Daz Newsome. What a play on the screen play, making a couple men miss and galloping into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the game.
And Daz Newsome, what a game to come out and start performing. 3 catches for 31 yards coming into this game. Now a couple of touchdown runs on Virginia Tech, a team that he grew up watching, a team that his older brother Dion played for the team just a few seasons ago.
You know, a great seal on that outside by Diami Brown on Armani Chapman, and Nike Hawkins, the redshirt freshman, having to come in for the injury on the last play to J.R. Walker. Misses an open field tackle, tries to tackle him by the arm, and you can't do that to a lot of these North Carolina wide receivers because they are so quick that they'll just brush you right off. You need to go for the ankles, and not able to do that for Hawkins, and the Virginia Tech defense pays costly as North Carolina gets back up by 11, 48-37. Here, only 3 minutes gone in this fourth quarter. And the extra point from Atkins is good, 48-37 North Carolina. This is why they are ranked number 8 in the country. This is the first time they have, surpassed 40 points so far this season. They scored 26 last week against Boston College and 31 in the opener against Syracuse. Obviously, they had 1 non-conference game against Charlotte that was canceled due to COVID-related concerns. It is not expected to be rescheduled, But for Virginia Tech, they had 2 games postponed. The key difference is they have been rescheduled. Week 1 was supposed to be opening against Liberty. That was postponed and rescheduled for November 7th. NC State was also postponed but rescheduled for September 26th. That game was played in Blacksburg with Virginia Tech taking that one 45-24. The following week, visiting Duke 10 on October 3rd. They took that one in a nail-biter, 38-31, a lot closer than some of the statistics might have led you to. The game against UVA that was supposed to be their season opener was postponed because Virginia Tech could not field the team. Too many COVID-related incidents on the offensive line. That is rescheduled for December 12th in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech having to wait a couple extra months with the opportunity to reclaim that coveted Commonwealth Cup. Virginia Tech going to get the ball back down by 11. Kim sends a booming 65-yard kickoff touching the H in Tar Heels, and it will not be fielded by Khalil Herbert, and Virginia Tech will get this ball at the 25-yard line. So Virginia Tech scored 20 unanswered points to end that third quarter, now down by 11. It is slowly, the clock is ticking, and they need another score this time around. At some point, they will need a field goal, so a field goal or a touchdown will aid Virginia Tech's cause, Tyler.
Yeah, any score here, well, not necessarily a field goal, as that would get them to 40 points compared to North Carolina's 49. That's still a 2-score game, so a touchdown is what you want for Virginia Tech. Not only what you want, but kind of what you need.
Khalil Herbert back out there, sat out the end of the last possession due to fatigue, and Hendon Hooker is not able to get the snap off. A huge mistake for Virginia Tech coming out of the kickoff. They are not able to field a play, taking a costly timeout for Justin Fuente and company, as they will need all the timeouts they can get later in this game, as obviously North Carolina will attempt to clock this fourth quarter. So Hendon Hooker and company will have to take a timeout without fielding a play on this drive. Like I talked about, Khalil Herbert is back out on the field. He sat out the end of the last drive because of those carry workloads, making way for Raheem Blackshear, but Khalil Herbert well rested after North Carolina's drive went over just 3 minutes. As we have a primetime matchup tonight, as Miami visits Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers, as Miami is in the top 7 at rank 7. Clemson is 1. 2 powerhouse quarterbacks looking to dig it out. Do you have any predictions for that primetime matchup tonight at 7:30?
I think it's going to be Clemson all the way.
As Khalil Herbert takes the handoff going left, has being tugged down for about 3 yards, but still fights his way to the first down marker. All they could drag him down by was his jersey and pants. But yes, Clemson has looked good so far this season. Miami has struggled in the past few years, but finally able to piece things together in the top 7. We'll see what things are able to brew this evening. Another primetime matchup for the ACC is Notre Dame and Florida State. Hendon Hooker rolling to his right, looking downfield for Trey Turner. And Justin Fuente is fired up on that sideline, looking for a holding call on that defensive back in Trey Morrison, but to no avail, no flags. Undefeated in the ACC, Clemson obviously leading the way 2-0 and 3-0 on the season. Miami right behind them, 3-0. North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Notre Dame all undefeated. Notre Dame playing later today in their second ACC matchup. Most of you will know Notre Dame is not traditionally part of the ACC on a 1-year loan because of COVID, and ACC play is only to be expected from the conference teams. Hendon Hooker, a 2-step drop, looking to his right, rolling to his right, receiving pressure and forced to throw it out of bounds. Great pressure on that one by Toman Fox, injured in that first quarter, has made his return. An immediate impact as he was hurrying Hendon Hooker. The only opportunity for Virginia Tech was to throw it away.
Yeah, and it's good to see Toman Fox back on the field after the injury scare in the first half. We didn't see him the rest of that half, but now coming back into the game and making plays.
Toman Fox out there, number 12, the brother of Tamari Fox on that defensive line. They have combined for 6 sacks this season. 3rd and 10, Virginia Tech needs a conversion here in their own territory at the 46-yard line. Hendon Hooker takes a 3-step drop, looking to his left, pressure up the middle, and he is dropped by Tamari Fox, the brother of Toman Fox, for his 5th sack of the season, as Tamari sends a little heart to the North Carolina sideline as North Carolina finally able to stop the Virginia Tech offense in this second half.
And it looks like both of them got in. If it were me scoring that, that's a half sack for Tamari, a half sack for Toman. So the Fox brothers getting in and sacking Hendon Hooker.
I'm sure Tamari or Toman would not care who gets credit for that sack, only that they get off the field. Oscar Bradburn sends a booming kick down to the North Carolina 23-yard line, punting from deep in his own territory. A 49-yard punt, fair caught by Newsome. But the North Carolina defense finally able to get a stop in this third quarter as they are able to corral Hendon Hooker for a huge 7-yard sack, the first sack of the half for North Carolina, only the second of the game by either team. Virginia Tech getting that sack in the first quarter from Barno, but North Carolina, their pass rush can be just as lethal as Virginia Tech's.
Yes, and really what we've seen from North Carolina, they've had a lot of I'd say uncertainty for their pass rush, but it's a lot stronger than last season. A lot more experience coming with it and a lot more freshmen that are recruits of Mac Brown coming into the game. So their line is going to keep getting stronger year after year the older this team gets.
Yeah, so North Carolina ranked number 8 now. This isn't even their peak as they start back up again with a screen pass to Javonte Williams running left. He breaks 2 tackles. He breaks a third, and he's out of bounds at the North Carolina 37, a gain of 15, pushed out by a combination of Matheny and Hollyfield.
And Matheny finally getting in on the tackle, the walk-on. He turned down a scholarship for wrestling at UVA, decided he wanted to play football for Virginia Tech, decided not to take the scholarship and walk on, and it's paying off. A big game against Duke last week, and finally getting in on the action here against North Carolina.
He's from Fairfax, Virginia, the redshirt sophomore. He had an interception in his first collegiate game, 2 tackles for loss, and Tyler Matheny looking to extend on that with more opportunities as Michael Carter rushes up the middle for 3 yards. Tackled by Emmanuel Belmar, had a career high. Belmar did 3 sacks last week against Duke. This is the first time we've called his name today. The combination of Jared Hewitt, the nose tackle, Emmanuel Belmar on the left side, and Justice Reed, the graduate transfer on the right, they have almost been stifled by this North Carolina offensive line. Played little to no snaps together last season. New additions in Asim Richards, Marcus McKeithen, but the one consistency is that center who is guarding the nose tackle. Jared Hewitt played 903 sacks last season, the red-shirted junior. North Carolina hands the ball off now to Michael Carter running right, splits the defense, finally brought down by Jermaine Waller after a gain of 13. Michael Carter back into the game. You know, the difference between Michael Carter and Javonte Williams is almost incomprehensible because their running styles are so similar. Michael Carter has now eclipsed 145 rushing yards, and today with 49 points, North Carolina has set 2 school records. Most points versus an AP ranked opponent, Virginia Tech is ranked 19th, and most points versus Virginia Tech. That record was previously broken last year in that 6 overtime victory with the final score 43-41. The score now with 9 minutes in that fourth quarter is 49-37. Howell drops back looking left, airs it out to Brown. He makes the catch. He is walking his way into the end zone, but there is a flag on the field. Checking the flag, it could be offensive pass interference. We'll have to get another look at it. As of right now, Diami Brown is standing in the end zone, but it will come back. An offensive pass interference. It looks like he extended that right arm. So now North Carolina and Virginia Tech have each had a touchdown called back because of penalty.
Yeah, a clear push-off by Diami Brown, and that's the second pass interference call on North Carolina. Interesting to note that both of them were on number 2, Don Chapman on the defense and Diami Brown on the offense.
Sam Howell and Diami Brown were targeting the freshman Dorian Strong, who was forced into this game after the ejection of Chamari Connor. So a good target towards the direction of Dorian Strong. It was great coverage, but Diami Brown could only push off to complete the pass. Now 1st and 25, a handoff to Michael Carter, running right, makes a man miss, gets a block, he's at the 40, he's at the 30, he's at the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Michael Carter. He says 1st and 25, I don't care, 62 yards to the house.
Big play by Michael Carter, and immediately after, a touchdown was called back for North Carolina, almost as if it was meant to be. One play after it was called back, Michael Carter showing off his legs and scoring for North Carolina for his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Extremely patient, waiting for the blocks to develop, and on the perimeter, Bo Corrales, he had 2 catches on the first drive, making a name for himself as he gets a beautiful seal on Armani Chapman, allowing Michael Carter to scamper all the way for 62 yards, and he has now 214 yards on the ground, a career high for North Carolina, as they have over 300 yards rushing between Michael Carter and Javonte Williams. The PAT from Atkins is good, and North Carolina jumps back ahead in 3-score fashion, 56-37, as Michael Carter running all over this Virginia Tech defense, 214 yards. We'll be right back on 3304 Sports. Coming back here in Chapel Hill, the story now is Michael Carter, a career high 214 yards on the ground after he scampers for 62. The kickoff is fielded by Herbert at the 1-yard line, elects to take it out instead of doing the college football fair catch rule, and he brings it out to the 23-yard line, a net gain of -2. But Michael Carter, Tyler, 214 yards, how has he gotten it done?
Well, he's gotten it done by his offensive line has worked wonders. Not only that, but Javonte Williams going for 100 yards. We talked about how Virginia Tech had only 2 300-plus rushing yard games since they joined the ACC in 2004. At the start of this game, North Carolina over 300 rushing yards against the Hokies.
Virginia Tech back on the offensive end. A swing pass out of the backfield to Raheem Blackshear goes for 7 as he is pushed out of bounds by Surratt on the defensive end. Hendon Hooker and company back on the field as they are running with their twin tight end set, which we have seen an increasing amount in this game. They are obviously keeping Trey Turner and Tavion Robinson on the outside, but a combination of Nick Gallo and James Mitchell at tight end. Handoff to Raheem Blackshear, cuts back, running left. He is able to fight his way to the 1st down marker as 4 Tar Heels corral for the play. It looks like the Tar Heels end up with the ball, but the official on the sideline is marking Raheem Blackshear down. He was clearly down, but good hustle by Tyrone Hopper to rip the ball out of Blackshear, but obviously he had already been down. North Carolina has 364 rushing yards. We expected Sam Howell to have a good game, but he has taken a backseat here in this 2nd half. Handoff to Trey Turner, a double reverse to Tavion Robinson. He elects to throw to Hendon Hooker on the sideline for a 1st down and more. Hooker makes a man miss. 20-yard play, a little trickery coming from Brad Cornelson, Tyler.
It's been mostly trickery from Brad Cornelson. The pooch punt in the 1st quarter, the onside kick in the 3rd, and now the flea flicker, the fake jet sweep flea flicker here in the 4th.
Now, down by 3 scores, able to open up your playbook, looking for anything to gain you yardage, and that gains you 20 as now Virginia Tech is at the North Carolina 46-yard line. 7 minutes and counting as time is ticking away from the Hokies. Tavion Robinson, that is his 3rd career pass attempted, and now he has eclipsed the double-digit margin as Raheem Blackshear takes it right up the middle and powers his way up for 3 yards. So Tavion Robinson has the availability to pass the ball when needed. 1 for 3 in his, passing career. Is obviously only completion was the 20-yard pass to Hendon Hooker.
And a beautiful play it was, a beautiful fake, and Hooker was wide open. Great play for Tech to get back in this.
2nd and 7. Hooker in the shotgun. 1 receiver at the bottom of the screen. Trey Turner up top. A drag play, it appears. He hands the ball up to Khalil Herbert, cuts the ball back, and is 1 yard short of the 1st down. It looked like it was one of those Brad Cornelson RPO run-pass option plays. Trey Turner was having a beautiful slant route across the middle. North Carolina covered it up well. So Hendon Hooker elects to keep the ball in the chest of Khalil Herbert and 3rd down and 1. Virginia Tech needs this conversion. I believe it is now 4-down territory for Virginia Tech, down by 3 scores. They hand the ball off to Herbert, running right up the middle behind Nestor, and he scampers his way for the 1st down. It is 1st down and 10 for Virginia Tech.
And it looks like a Tar Heel slow to get up. I saw the number 5, and it was a 2-digit number. Not really sure who the injured Tar Heel is. It looks like it is Tamari Fox, the younger brother of Toman Fox. Toman went down with an injury earlier. Now Tamari down, and a scary moment for North Carolina.
Yeah, he was able to get the sack earlier. Down at the moment. We can't tell if it's a shoulder injury, but it appears that he is now able to sit up, obviously fully awake. He might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. He has helped to his feet and walked off the sideline. Upcoming games today, a lot of top 25 matchups. Miami and Clemson at 7:30. Auburn takes on Arkansas. Around the ACC, Pittsburgh and Boston College. Boston College obviously looking to rebound against their loss last week against North Carolina. Right now, Texas A&M is still taking on, I believe, LSU.
Now Texas A&M and Florida,
Texas A&M
a tight
Florida.
game.
So a lot of potential upsets around the top 25 here today as LSU is holding on for dear life, as well as Florida. 2nd down and 7 now. 5:45 remaining. Hendon Hooker, play action pass, but takes it right up the middle and is spun forward. Depending on the spot, this might be a 1st down.
And this is a huge drive for Virginia Tech. You have to score. You're down by 19 points right now. You need to put points on the scoreboard. You're in a 3-possession game.
That was viewed as a 1st down, depending on the spot. Tavion Robinson in motion, a play-action jet sweep. Going across the middle to James Mitchell. He is wide open at the 5. Touchdown, James Mitchell off of the 26-yard reception from Hendon Hooker. Virginia Tech draws closer yet again.
And like I just said, you need a score here. It's a 3-score game. Now you need to give the ball back to North Carolina and get it back not once but twice in the remaining 5 minutes and 20 seconds of this game.
Virginia Tech will go for 2, down by 13 at the moment, looking to bring it within 2. Hendon Hooker in the shotgun. Trio wide receiver to his right, swings the ball out, looking for the back shoulder fade for Robinson. It is incomplete. And it looks like Virginia Tech has failed the 2-point conversion pending a penalty. And that remains the score at 56-43. It appears the officials are converging on the field. A possible flag, we will check on the status of that. But looking back at the touchdown, you know, the attention downfield was on Nick Gallo and Caleb Smith, leaving James Mitchell wide open for the reception from Hendon Hooker. Mitchell has now eclipsed 100 yards on the day, 4 receptions, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns, one of them being on the ground.
And this is just a huge opportunity for Virginia Tech, missing the 2-point conversion. Now another opportunity to put points on the scoreboard. You cannot waste a second chance if you're Virginia Tech.
It looks like on the official review, or the announcement from the officials, there was another substitution penalty from North Carolina, as they were not sure if Virginia Tech was going to go for 2 or not. So right now, Brad Cornelison and company huddled up with James Mitchell, Hendon Hooker, and some other special teams personnel trying to get a plan together, because you're going to assume that Virginia Tech is going to attempt another onside kick, regardless if the second 2-point conversion attempt is successful or not.
Yeah, and this is a huge opportunity for North Carolina to put this game away, to recover that onside kick and put the game away with a recovery, run the clock out, and even score again to put the deficit much higher for Virginia Tech, even harder to make that comeback.
And one of the possibilities of why North Carolina was able to stop that previous 2-point conversion was they were playing a man up, 12 men on the field, so Hendon Hooker and company will jot back out there Now, with half the distance to the goal, they're taking it from the 1.5-yard line. You know, they elected to pass on the previous two-point conversion plays. Now, Cornelison able to open up his playbook if he chooses to run or pass again, as Virginia Tech has two receivers at the top of the screen in Robinson and Trey Turner, both in single coverage. Motion from Nick Gallo. Low snap. Hooker takes it left. Scampers into the end zone. He's in for the two-point conversion. 56-45 now, a crucial two-point conversion for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and this is a huge play, like you just mentioned, for Virginia Tech. Now you're only down by 11 points. That's a field goal and a touchdown with a two-point conversion. But the next step isn't what score you need next. The next step is how you get the ball back. Do they kick it off, let North Carolina take a traditional possession, and try to have your defense make a stop, which they weren't able to do on their last drive? Or do you try to have the onside kick again when North Carolina is expecting it?
I think at this point you just have to go for an onside kick. No matter the outcome, you need the ball back. Obviously, losing that timeout at the beginning of the third quarter was extremely costly in terms of how Virginia Tech can try and make a stand as North Carolina looks to clock the game with over 300 yards rushing. So, looking to get those, first downs shouldn't be too difficult for North Carolina with the way they've been running the ball. Brian Johnson is out there for the onside kick attempt. Obviously, he will not elect to recover it himself as multiple Tar Heels are standing at the 45. The onside kick is muffed by North Carolina, but it looks like they are able to dive on top of it. It looked like for a moment North Carolina had let the ball pass, and Virginia Tech had an opportunity to jump on it. As it appears, we're going to get to you who recovered it, but it looks like a 23 for North Carolina possibly was not able to jump on it, but North Carolina and Trey Morrison was able to, was the final one to jump on it, saving the possession for the Tar Heels.
And it looks like that was Groves for North Carolina, able to recover the onside kick.
Miscommunication from North Carolina, get a break as Virginia Tech was right on top of that, looking to hound another possession. But now North Carolina gets the ball at the 50-yard line, handed it off to, it is kept by Sam Howell. Everybody was fooled. Everybody thought Javonte Williams had kept it, but one of the rare occasions today, Sam Howell keeps the ball on the quarterback keeper on the right side and gains 12 for the first down. We are now under 5 minutes here as the play clock reaches 25. Sam Howell rushes for 12 yards down to the Virginia Tech 38, brought down by Alan Tisdale.
And this is a big set of downs for Virginia Tech. You have two timeouts to work with. They're on the 38-yard line, still out of field goal range, as Grayson Atkins hasn't been great from long distance this season for North Carolina. You need a stop on this down and distance.
Handoff now once again to Williams running right, and he gets a good gain on first down, 5 yards. Another tackle by Tisdale. But obviously North Carolina averaging over 5 yards per carry this game. Virginia Tech needs a couple tackle for losses, as well as a few lucky timeouts to go as well, as an injured Hokie is on the floor, and that is Jermaine Waller. 4:24 remaining here in this fourth quarter. Virginia Tech desperately needing a stop. More importantly, a turnover.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for Mac Brown and his offense, he's telling his team, listen, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the clock out. Don't worry about yardage. The first thing you're going to do when you receive that handoff is tuck that ball in, make sure that does not pop out. That is the one thing North Carolina needs to avoid.
Yeah, Sam Howell has been interception prone in the first 2 weeks, throwing 3 interceptions in 2 weeks. Obviously has not turned the ball over today, and if you're Mac Brown and company, you're going to keep the ball out of the air, because obviously even if there is an incomplete pass, that's almost as if a free timeout for Virginia Tech. You want to run the clock down to as little as possible, and even if Virginia Tech gets the ball back, you want little to no time, because this is still a 2-score game.
Yeah, and like I said, you need a stop on this down and distance to force North Carolina to kick and potentially miss a field goal, because if a field goal is kicked. That's still a 14-point game, still 2 scores. A touchdown is a dagger for Virginia Tech.
North Carolina running down the play clock, now under 15 as we eclipse the 4-minute mark. Virginia Tech needs to make their stand here because they need 2 possessions, now under 4 minutes. This is the time a first down here may end it for North Carolina. 2nd and 5, Howell in the shotgun, hands it off right up the middle to Javonte Williams, and he gets the first down. What a clutch run for Javonte Williams. 6 yards right up the middle to the Virginia Tech 27-yard line, tackled by Rayshard Ashby. So Tyler, if you're North Carolina, do you continue to run the ball with the intent of scoring a touchdown, or do you just try and hold it as Virginia Tech is obviously running out of time with only 2 timeouts remaining and no means to stop the clock after that?
Well, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, whenever they touch the ball, they seem to gain yardage no matter what. So I'd keep running the ball, keep running the clock out. If we happen to score a touchdown, great. But that's not the purpose of this drive.
Sam Howell now under center, hands the ball off to Javonte Williams with a full head of steam. It takes 5 Hokies to bring him to the ground after a gain of 4 yards. Norrell Pollard, the sophomore defensive tackle from Florida, makes the tackle. He returned the fumble for touchdown versus Pittsburgh in 2019 in their shutout victory, and he was a tackle shy of his career high at 5 versus Duke last week. This is only his 3rd tackle today. He has 6 on the season, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Virginia Tech could use a forced fumble from Pollard or anyone on that defensive side now. North Carolina elects to take a timeout with 2:18 on the clock as they run the play clock all the way down, and North Carolina is once again seeming to run the ball down Virginia Tech's throat, Tyler.
Yeah, and that's been their strategy all day. They have eclipsed 400 yards on the ground. Virginia Tech was gloating about having 300-plus rushing yard games. They've only done it twice entering this season. They've done it in their first 2 games. North Carolina says, I will one-up you with 400 yards on the ground so far today. An absolutely stellar performance from North Carolina, showing why they're in the top 10.
2nd down and 6, 3 minutes remaining. It was for the injury timeout. North Carolina did not call a timeout. A first down run right up the middle, breaking a tackle, and the ball is loose, but recovered by Javonte Williams. He might have been down before the ball came out, but a lucky break nonetheless for North Carolina as they gain yet another first down to the Virginia Tech 23-yard line. No, excuse me, the 13-yard line. I can't speak. But down to the Virginia Tech 13-yard line, 2:36 remaining, 18 on the play clock. Expect North Carolina to either snap the ball at 1 or take a timeout here.
Yeah, and I would expect them to snap the ball at 1. Virginia Tech down to just a lone timeout, but the play clock down to 3. We'll see what happens with Sam Howell.
And they were in position to take the snap, but elect to take the timeout. Obviously juicing every single second they can. They will take a timeout with 2:18 remaining. That is North Carolina's first timeout. Yes, their first timeout of the half. Virginia Tech had to burn one earlier in the half. But 2:18 remaining on the clock. North Carolina elects to take a timeout. This should be a 60-second timeout. But for Virginia Tech, your hope is almost gone here in the red zone. Even if you are able to get a stop, North Carolina is basically guaranteed points, Tyler.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're necessarily guaranteed points, but they're definitely guaranteeing to drain this clock as much as they can. And with it being first down, Virginia Tech only has one more opportunity to stop the clock. It is next to over for Virginia Tech just because of the clock management and the running game for North Carolina able to put this game away.
You know, even if Virginia Tech is able to get this ball back and score, you know, North Carolina has left so little time on this clock. Field goal or no field goal, it would still remain a 2-score game, but Virginia Tech needs 2 touchdowns to take the lead at the moment. 2:18 on the clock. It is 1st and 10 now. 17 seconds on the play clock. North Carolina just called their 2nd timeout of the half. And it looks like we have another stoppage of play, and Virginia Tech will now elect to call a timeout. Why do you think head coach Justin Fuente elected to call a timeout already on the dead ball?
Well, I think they're trying to figure out how to stop North Carolina, but I don't think it was in the back of Justin Fuente's mind that he only had one timeout remaining. Personally, I don't agree with the call, but I think he's deciding how we want to stop Michael Carter and Javonte Williams to force North Carolina to kick a field goal, keeping this a two-score game, even though the odds are fairly long for the Hokies in this game.
At this point, Virginia Tech needs a turnover, a touchdown, an onside kick, and then another touchdown, all in less than 2 minutes. You know, definitely not statistically impossible, but very unlikely, as North Carolina has had the ball since, it appears, since 5:18 on the clock after Virginia Tech scored, and they have just been hogging the ball. As we look at the game summary, there's 101 combined points between these two teams. This is the highest scoring game between AP-ranked teams in ACC history, as it appears Sam Howell will hand the ball off to the left side to Javonte Williams, will scamper down inside the Virginia Tech 10-yard line. But these two teams combined for the longest game in ACC history last year in 6 overtimes, and now this year they combined for the highest scoring ACC game between top 25 teams. So all the record books are being shattered in this rivalry, Tyler.
Yeah, and last year, 6 overtime thriller. In 6 overtimes, there were only 84 combined points for the two teams, 43 of which for Virginia Tech, 41 for North Carolina. And it's both milestones, or the score of last year's game has been eclipsed by both teams.
Yeah, and it looks like with 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 27-yard line, Javonte Williams will take the rush again. No, excuse me, 1st and 10, yes, at the Virginia Tech 3-yard line. Javonte Williams will take it up the middle for a loss of 1. Rayshard Ashby finally able to get in the backfield alongside Alan Tisdale. We are now under a minute, and North Carolina will look to run down the play clock to as little as possible. If my math serves me right, they will be under 50 seconds before they will be forced to take a timeout or a delay of game.
Yeah, and this is really crunch time for North Carolina, where you're running down on the clock, you're getting close to being able to take a knee in victory formation.
Exactly as much. No use in risking the health and safety of your running backs if you're able to do so. Play clock pending, and just as we predicted, North Carolina takes a 30-second timeout with 51 seconds remaining on the clock. Looking ahead to both teams, Virginia Tech will travel back to Blacksburg, Virginia next week for a primetime matchup with Boston College, airing on the ACC network. Virginia Tech hoping to have some returners on the defensive side of the ball. North Carolina, they travel to Florida State, who will be taking on Notre Dame later this afternoon on Saturday, October 17th. Another primetime game at 7 p.m. on ESPN. North Carolina, ranked 8th nationally, will improve to 3-0 as Virginia Tech suffers their first loss of the season, going to 2-1 and 2-1 in ACC play. We talked about how this needed to be a must-win for Virginia Tech if they wanted to find themselves in the ACC championship game, but a long season ahead of them. Miami, Clemson still on the schedule, so a high potential for a very good bowl game for Virginia Tech. North Carolina coming out in victory formation with 51 seconds remaining. Sam Howell backs up, attempts to run down some of the play clock, and takes a knee with 46 seconds. The play clock is resets at 40 seconds, so Sam Howell was trying to burn some of that time. It is now 4th down. North Carolina will look to run down the play clock and take a knee one more time, depending on if they're able to burn those times by Howell standing around. Virginia Tech might get this ball back with 3 seconds, but obviously inconsequential.
Yeah, in 3 seconds, I don't necessarily think that's enough time to score a touchdown, onside kick, and score another touchdown. So I believe this one, put it in the books, 3-0 for North Carolina, 2-1 for Virginia Tech.
Sam Howell takes a step back, takes a knee, but a push from Holyfield yields some flags as there is chatter with 1 second remaining on the clock. Sam Howell appeared to continue to back up, hoping to burn out the rest of the clock, and Holyfield took exception of it, trying to tackle him down before Howell took the knee. And Rayshard Ashby is jawing at Sam Howell, and more flags fly as Rayshard Ashby has to be held back from his teammates. You expect some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties as Justin Fuente is waving his guys back to the sideline as this game is all but in the books with 1 second remaining and flags flying everywhere.
And I think Dax Hollifield just wanted to get the ball back to say they made another stop. They've only made 3 in this game so far. So he was rushing Sam Howell, forcing him down, just made contact after Howell had taken the knee. So it was a hit after the runner was down. Not a penalty you typically see during victory formation, but an unsportsmanlike conduct likely coming for Dax Hollifield and Rayshard Ashby as well, who was jawing at Sam Howell after the play.
You know, I think it comes from the frustration because we've talked about that the Virginia Tech linebackers have looked lost this game against the North Carolina offense. Ashby and Hollifield have not had their best games in a Virginia Tech uniform. I think most of this is frustration because of how well North Carolina has run on their defense. The push by Hollifield was not a tackle, more so of a two-handed shove that pushed Howell to the ground, so do not expect any type of targeting or excessive contact. More so just an unsportsmanlike conduct as Virginia Tech will get the ball with 1 second remaining. There is no rule for runoff on the replacement of downs. So Ashby and Hollifield will be charged with their first unsportsmanlike conduct of the penalty of the game. We do not expect a second one as we wind down this one in Chapel Hill. North Carolina dominating fashion, only going to win by 11, but it seemed like the score was not indicative of how North Carolina was able to control this game, going up by 21 points twice in this game.
No, and give credit to Virginia Tech. They were down 21, but a huge third quarter. They brought this game within 3 at one point. It was a great effort for Virginia Tech, falling just short. And this game, in the second half, a lot closer than the scoreboard would like you to believe.
Yeah, Virginia Tech started out the game down 21-0, able to crawl their way back to 21-14, and then North Carolina extended the lead to 35-14 right at the end of the half as Hendon Hook and company. I wouldn't really call this victory formation, but is a very similar formation as Hooker is just going to take the knee as this one winds down here in North Carolina as North Carolina Tar Heels advance to 3-0. This is their 6th straight win under the head coach tenure of Mack Brown. Their first win against Justin Fuente as the head coach of Virginia Tech. As we wrap things up for 3304 Sports, my name's Clint McLeod alongside my broadcast partner Tyler Katz. The final score from North Carolina, 56, Virginia Tech 45. Thank you for joining us on your Saturday afternoon as both of these teams will look to rebound once again next week in more ACC play that we are looking forward to. For 3304 Sports, Clint McLeod, Tyler Katz signing off from our homes in Blacksburg, Virginia.